with talent, craft, and dreams and making plans. But decisions came like twisters, scattered hopes across the floor. Now players shake their heads, wondering what they're gaming for. Oh, Warner Brothers, what you doing to your name? Patent nemesis, it's greed behind your fame. Canceled Wonder Woman, left us waiting in the dust. Suicide Squad sinking fast, lost the gaming world's trust. That nemesis system had folks cheering far and wide, but you locked it down and creativity just died. Instead of leading progress, you're blocking up the lane, holding back the industry, causing nothing but disdain. Oh, Warner Brothers, can't you see the gaming light? Misreading your audience, getting nothing right, letting great teams crumble, opportunities ignored. Gamers asking why they're even bothered anymore. Wonder Woman could have soared, made history anew, but you tossed her out like yesterday's news. Suicide Squad came in hot, crashed and burned right through. Misunderstood your market, now the joke's on you. Oh, Warner Brothers, lost in stubborn pride. Gaming world's changing, but you're stuck inside. Missed every chance you had, ignored the warning signs. Better wake up soon before you fall too far behind. Message, Warner, from gamers coast to coast. Respect your teams and visions, or you'll end up as a ghost. Stop wasting all potential, learn to play the game, or Warner Brothers games will just remain a crying shame.
Time to play the game. I drove my rusty pickup to the local game store door. Starfield gleamed upon the shelf, couldn't wait no more. Todd Howard spun his stories of galaxies afar, but when I fired up that game, I didn't get too far. Oh, Todd, you sold me stardust, but gave me empty skies. Promised me the universe with all your alibis. I fell for all your stories, like I always do. Starfield left me wishing for a game that's true. They boasted endless planets, each one unique and new. But after planet number 3, I'd seen a deja vu. The critics didn't love it, gave it mediocre scores. Just another space misfire echoed across the boards. Oh, Todd, you sold me stardust, but gave me empty skies. Promised me the universe with all your alibis. I fell for all your stories, like I always do. Starfield left me wishing for a game that's true. I searched for epic battles, but the AI wouldn't fight. Characters were wooden and the dialogue was trite. Todd promised me the cosmos, but left me in in the dust. Now I'm trading in this game, it's betrayed my trust. Oh, Todd, you weaved a fable of worlds beyond compare, but all I got were glitches and load screens everywhere. Still somehow I'm considering when the next game's not, 'cause hope's a stubborn thing, and I'll give it one more try. Oh, Todd, you sold me stardust, but gave me empty skies. Promised me the universe with all your alibis. I fell for all your stories, like I'll always do. Starfield left me wishing for a game that's true. Oh, Todd, you sold me stardust, but gave me empty skies. Promised me the universe with all your alibis. I fell for all your stories, like I always do. Starfield left me wishing for a game that's true.
16 times the detail.
If only it did have 16 times the detail, Todd. If only. Then maybe we wouldn't be here right now. Still talking about it. If only. If only. Hi, everybody. How are you? Everybody doing good? Everybody having a good day? Hopefully. Sumaya, thank you for getting us started. Bring Todd in. Free roam today. That's a very good question. I need to ping Jor about that. Jor is a busy bee, dude. He travels like crazy. He'll just casually mention, he's like, oh yeah, I'm going to freaking Mars. And I'm like, oh God, okay. I'm like, whatever. But I guess when you live in Europe, it's not that big of a deal to just like casually go to England. And then, oh, next weekend, I'm going to take a little peruse through Paris. Like, that's not that big of a deal. Here, that's like a huge ordeal, obviously. Hell, here, even in like going from Colorado to Texas is a big deal. But, you know, it's because everything's bigger in the US. People forget, like, if you live in Europe, each country is basically like each state within the US. That's how freaking huge the US is. It's ridiculous. Like, I remember explaining to a British person I knew who lived in the UK, and had never been to the US. I was like, no, like, it's to get from one end of our state to the other is like 6-hour drive, 7-hour drive, but maybe more. She's like, what? Just to the end of your state? I was like, no, like, seriously. Like, the US is big, dude. It is big. Girthy, dare I say. Girthy. Indeed. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Yes, in case you don't know, on YouTube, they finally added us to the program that lets us set goals. So experimenting with it, I set a goal. Basically, if we get 5 yellow super chats, whatever that converts to in your currency, I get to bring Todd out of the closet. Todd's been in the closet for a while now. He's very sad and he wants to be set free. And the only way to set him free is with viscous cash. Cold, hard, viscous cash. So we'll see. If not, don't worry about it. I'm doing just fine financially. You don't need to give me money. But if you want Todd to come out of the closet, that's how we do it. Yeah, it's pay to win. Speaking of Todd coming out of the closet, Starfield, new mini segment. Starfield got an update, ladies and gents. Hold on, my screen's not working. Hold on, this happens sometimes. Deactivate, reactivate. Still not working. Please hold. Deactivate. Maybe if I go over to OBS virtual camera and then I go to that, will that work? Well, we'll give it a second. Professional streamer, yes. Officially professional streamer. It did get an update. It did technically get an update, which is a little bizarre to see. You know, I'm here for it. But bear in mind, like, Todd not that long ago was saying they were going to do like annual updates and like a ton of stuff. Like a lot. Watching your stream while breading at Chick-fil-A. Let's get Todd out of the closet. Damn right. Damn right. By breading, do you just mean like breading the chicken? I'm assuming. When I worked at Chick-fil-A, which yes, I did for a summer in high school, I did not, like, I wasn't, I think, officially like kitchen trained. Because it was an age thing, I think, if I remember correctly. It was like an age issue. I was too young because I was still in high school, so they couldn't train me on that stuff. I believe that's what it was. I was allowed to make lemonade. I was allowed to do that. There we go. So I made lemonade and stuff, but I was never allowed to like use knives or anything. It was a whole thing. It was a whole thing. He's getting that bread. Damn right, dude. Damn right. Jesus, everybody. Thank you over on Twitch. The drive from El Paso to Houston is 10 hours. Yeah, dude, and that's just Texas. Texas is actually ridiculous. Like, it's actually insane. Let me catch up on these real quick, guys. Thank you for those. Califrodo, thank you for the tier 1. 3 months in a row. Let's get it. Orc 2077 subbed with Prime. They've been subbed for 12 months. For that, I'll show you an orc. You want to see one of my orcs? I'll show you an orc. Hold on. What's a good orc to show you? Let's show you this guy. Ooh, no, this guy's good too. I'll show you this guy. Let's do this. Look at my orc.
Gam_1998 donated 50 Saudi Riyals through Super Chat. Hi Luke and chat. Hope y'all are having an amazing day. From your personal estimation, is there a timeline where GTA 6 doesn't catch up or surpass GTA 5's numbers or Metascore?
Also, I'm going to be a dad. It cut that part off. Congrats on being a dad. First of all, Jesus, congratulations. That's awesome. Claps in the chat for Gam for becoming a dad. As for, do I think there's a timeline in which GTA doesn't catch up or surpass? I think it's going to be a much longer tail. Because the number of consoles, like, you gotta remember, GTA 5 launched at the end of the 360 era, and then immediately a year later they did updates for next-gen consoles, so they got to dip into that. This is just a little bit different. Like, it's gonna be launching basically in the middle of a generation, so I do think it's gonna take longer to build up those numbers. I think there's going to be more margin. I think they'll get more money out of each copy, but I do think it'll take longer. So as for Metacritic score, I mean, I'm sure it's going to review crazy well because it's Rockstar. That's what happens. But I do think you're right. It's going to take a while to like catch up and get to that level. Do you want to see my Magnus? Just showing off my toys. This was the first ever big model I painted.
Jimothy donated $10 through Super Chat. Todd.
Praise him. Praise him. Everybody in chat, praise him. Praise Todd. Praise Todd. Yes. Everybody praise him. Praise Todd. Yes. This is Magnus the Red. He's a beastie boy. And yes, I gave him the boob horns. Damn right. But we hit the goal, guys. That's crazy. Thank you, everybody. Yeah, Magnus did nothing wrong. Somebody finally said it. Let's get Todd out of the closet. Should we get Todd out of the closet? Todd! They did it. They threw money at me, so now I get to take you out of the closet. It finally happened. Todd, come on, buddy. He's embarrassed. Okay, come on, Todd. Good boy. See? I know it was dark in there. Next time you should release a finished game. Next time you should do that. Then you won't have to spend time in the closet. even stand up. There you go. There you go, Todd. There you go. We're going to jump scare so many people with that thing. He's like a little dark, though. Where's those? Ooh. I moved the little lights that I have into the other room. Darn it. Should Todd stay close or should I back him up where he's going to be in the light? What do you think? What do you think? I don't know what's better. Because he's kind of in the darkness right now, but that's also kind of moody. So, you know, both can work. Bring Todd into the light. He is the light. That's the problem. That's the problem for him. Let's see. There we go. There we go. You look great, Todd. There you go. Now he's lit. Look at that guy. Look at him. Look at that. Just hanging out. Just hanging out. Well, thank you everybody for the super chats to get us to the goal to bring Todd out of the closet. We officially did it. That's wonderful. Thank you. Let me continue catching up on these real quick. Let's see. Chanster, thank you for the 11 months over on Twitch. That's crazy. I'm well aware that the Witcher 4 demo was just that and not the game, but one thing I never heard anyone talk about was how they said during the live presentation that the location can be seen in the demo is actually replaced in the game you'll be exploring. Gives me a little hope that this is close enough to the final product. Yeah, that whole thing was very interesting because they did stress like 15,000 times that it was not The Witcher 4. Like they said a bajillion times, this is not The Witcher 4. It's a tech demo of technology we will use in The Witcher 4. Which I get, I understand, and I mean, I'm sure they're just walking on eggshells to avoid like a cyberpunk situation again. But still, like even at the bottom, technical presentation, not actual gameplay. So they're just preparing to be able to walk it back if they need to. I mean, realistically, I think, you know, when we see the final product, it probably won't be quite as sharp. It probably won't have as many unique assets because it's just not practical to have so many handcrafted things. But in a tech presentation, you can do that. And I mean, I understand why they did it that way, but I do think that this is a good bellwether for what they are capable of doing in the next game. So I think it'll look close to this. Maybe not quite as good, especially on like base hardware. I'm sure they're going to have to make some concessions as time goes by, but still. I also think that, you know, this footage looks really, really good when you're watching on your phone or something. If you've not tried turning it up and like cranking the resolution, putting it on a big TV or something in front of you, I recommend you do that because it actually is fairly blurry. They're having to rely a lot on temporal upscalers and stuff to hit these frame rates, which is fine, but the bigger the screen gets, the more obvious that becomes. And so I think it'll look good right now, like watching the stream, but I think if this were the final product, it would be lacking in sharpness. But I mean, again, it's still probably like 3-4 years out. So I think they're going to make massive improvements. But yeah, they did say that the city you'll see, we around the corner. Come on. They said this over here. They're about to pan away from it. This off in the distance. Maybe they show it at the very end. Yeah. This off in the distance will be a location playable in the game. So you'll go there. I'm sure it'll look a bit different. This is basically just, as far as I understand it, this is probably just sort of like a billboard. It's just sort of art that they've put in place because they don't need to show that. But in the final game, this will almost certainly be a city you can actually explore and walk around in, which is cool. It's cool. Gives you a vibe. You see that mountain? You can go there. Yeah. Yes, I went. It sucked. Let's see. Okay, yeah, booyah. Thank you everybody over on Twitch for that. We hit a hype train within like a few minutes of starting the stream. That's crazy. Let's see. Boda guy, thank you for the 5 again for the super chat there. Gam again, congrats on being a dad. Sumaya 2, Jor 3 is cooler with another super chat. Sumaya coming out swinging with like 4 separate super chats to help us hit the gold. Jesus. Jimothy, thank you again. Todd. Sumaya, thank you for the, once again, another super chat. That's crazy. Automatic Prince, thank you for the 5. Even as an American, I didn't realize how big the country is until I took Peppa Pig, a 4-episode arc to get from New York to Hollywood. That's a very specific thing, and I kind of love that. That's freaking funny. That's very funny. Samuel as well, thank you for the super chat. Hello, Luke, love the channel. Do you think a actual new storyline like Desmond's or a new Splinter Cell could save Ubisoft? I feel like they have a lot of stories but don't know how to use them. Yeah, I think execution's been a problem.
$10 through super chat.
They definitely need
Looks
something.
like Battlefield 6 is getting revealed soon. Do you have any faith in EA being able to make a good game without absurd microtransactions?
Oh, baby. We'll talk about that because, yes, you're right. They did reveal that. And there's some more things that have been revealed that we'll touch on, such as different pricing for console versus PC. We'll talk about it. Yeah, we'll talk about it. Yeah, I am... At this point, I think you got to look at the track record. I hope. There's a difference between what I hope happens and what I think most likely will happen. You know, I hope I win the lottery somehow, even though I don't buy lottery tickets. I hope I somehow find a lottery ticket on the ground, pick it up and win $100 million. I don't think that's going to happen. You know, that's where I'm at. But we'll talk about it. Thank you for the super chat. We'll circle back to it because I do want to talk about that in more detail in like a dedicated segment. And Samuel, as for your super chat about Ubisoft stories, I think their problem is largely with execution. Like AC Shadows, a lot of what they set up narratively could be really interesting. I mean, effectively, it's the same premise that Ghost of Yotei is going to be using. Which is why some Ghost of Yotei fans have been frustrated because like this just sounds like AC Shadows because it's very, very similar. It's a revenge quest where a female protagonist is going against people who killed members of her family. You know, it's pretty much one-to-one. But I think we all kind of are expecting the execution of Ghost of Yotei to probably be better. And that's also what I'm kind of expecting. So I think their problem has been with execution, biting off more than they can chew, and then also trying to make stories that can be taken in piecemeal. And they didn't used to have this problem, but they've just gotten in this rut for about a decade where they just can't really nail it as far as I'm concerned. And I hope that changes. I really do believe Assassin's Creed Hexe, whatever that ends up looking like, could very well be a return to form for them because they're bringing back OG writers like Darby to work on it. That have a track record of really knowing what they're doing, and it's going to be a linear game instead of this massive AC Shadows like, you know, sandbox, which allows them to be much more specific with story beats and everything. And so I think that they could potentially get back on the right track, and they're making the right choices right now. So I think they're doing the right stuff to get to that destination. But as for whether they arrive there is a separate question entirely. But yeah, I'm very, very excited to hear that they're going with much more of a linear thing. Yeah. Didn't Darby also work on Valhalla? Yes. As far as I recall, yes. And I think a lot of my big problem, and everybody's got different problems with Valhalla. My problem with Valhalla is that it was way, way, way too big. And as a result, even the good components were washed out. You know, if you have a phenomenal Wagyu steak, but you put it within like a massive stew filled with carrots and onions and everything, it probably still will taste good for a lot of people, but you're not going to truly appreciate how good the Wagyu steak is if it's mixed in with a bunch of other stuff. You know, you need to give it space to do its thing and to be appreciated by itself to really appreciate high quality steak. And it's why, like, you know, the idea of smothering a really nice steak in ketchup is like infuriating to foodies because it will, you know, undermine it. So I think if they have a really good story, if it's in a linear format, it's much easier to appreciate it than if it's in some monster 100-hour sandbox, you know. A Wagyu ragu, how dare you? That's an actual crime against humanity, doing that. My goodness. Let's see. Where was I? Let's see. Leo Breaker, thank you for the 5. Hey, Luke, I want to try Souls games. Where should I start? I was looking at Lords of the Fallen 2.0. Where to start? I actually think Elden Ring is probably the most approachable because it's massive. There's a ton of content made for it in terms of like guides and stuff. So if you want to get your feet wet, that's a good place to start. So it might be worth trying to start with Elden Ring. After that, I would experiment depending on how you like it. So like if you like the challenge of an Elden Ring, you could go to the other extreme and try something like Neo. Neo it's hard. There's a lot there, lots of depth as well, but it's tricky. Lies of P is also really, really good. So I'd recommend you try Lies of P, but you can also just start working through the backlog of FromSoft as well. So, Lords of the Fallen is also really good. I think a lot of people put Lords of the Fallen in, the Soulsborne category, but, in a different tier than like the core releases. But I would probably recommend starting with Elden Ring, and based on how you feel about that, you can pivot to whichever direction you like. Because if you like parry-based builds, Sekiro, 10 out of 10 times, that's where you should go next. If you like more defensive gameplay, then something like, just go to Dark Souls 3 or something and play that. So it'll give you an option to try a little bit of everything and figure out where you like it, and then pivot to that game, Kazan First Berserker is really cool. I also think it's approachable in the sense that it's easy to understand, but it's also tough. Like First Berserker it gets hard, dude. It gets freaking hard. Yeah. Not including Bloodborne is rude. Well, I was going to say, if you play Elden Ring and you like really high aggression builds, so you take like super light armor and you just like being in the face of the enemy, that's when Bloodborne's good. If you just like complexity, Neo's really good. So you can just kind of pick and choose what you like based on that. So, and then Lies of P. I mean, I just really like Lies of P, frankly. So Stellar Blade is also really approachable and gets you to parry mode. Stellar Blade also is just a good game. It's done very, very well, and I still don't think it gets enough credit. I think too many people dismiss it as just the Gooner game, but seriously, it's actually pretty solid. Let's see. Julian, thank you for the 2. Do you believe Donkey Kong Bonanza has a chance for GOTY? For me, I don't think so. For Jeff Keighley, I think it'll be nominated. I don't think it will win. I think it's way, way, way more likely that it's nominated and it loses out to Death Stranding, KCD2, or Expedition 33. I think Split Fiction also gets nominated. So you're just starting to get to the spot, and we're not even talking about like Ghost of Yotei yet. I mean, that's still coming. So I do think that there's going to be some stiff competition, and it might be in like the number 3 spot or the number 2 spot for a lot of people, but I think that it probably doesn't beat out the big behemoths that came this year. Not to say it's bad. It's just that this year has been crazy. This year has been so good that we're in that spot where we're talking about like one of what would normally be a game of the year front runner, and we're like, yeah, it's probably like 3rd, 4th place. Like that's just how good this year has been. Mind's Eye, easy. Oh man, can we all agree Far Cry 5 is extremely underrated? Yeah, I mean, I would say it's underrated. I think there's a lot of more casual gamers that play it and appreciate it, but yeah, I think that one's underrated. Do you remember they did that spin-off game? What was the spin-off game with like was it two sisters? The super colorful one? New Dawn? Is that it? Yeah, this. First-person shooter Ubisoft Montreal, published by Ubisoft, spin-off and sequel to Far Cry 5. 2019. You remember this? What a dumpster fire. Yeah. I don't know why they did this. Like what if we made the same game, but worse and pink? What if we just did that? What if we just did that? That's all you need. Whatever. Also, shout out. You guys know we use the sound bites. You know, Primal, I think, is also underrated. Primal's pretty underrated. Do you guys, we use this sound bite all the time, right? I'm vibing. That is taken from an episode of 1,000-Pound Sisters. And it's a clip from Tammy Slaton, who's like the star of that reality TV show. She used to be, and in that episode where she says, I'm vibing, she was like 700 pounds. No joke. At like 5'4", which for like a full, like average height adult is the equivalent of weighing like 800 something pounds. To put it in perspective, this is what she used to look like, okay? When she said this, I'm vibing, this is what she looked like, okay? Okay? She has lost all of it. Can we get some claps in the chat? Can we get some that's most definitely what's up in the chat?
That's most definitely what's up.
Like, dude, good for her, man. That's crazy. This is mean. That's crazy though. How crazy is that? Can you imagine losing that much weight? Like, good for her, dude. Good for her. Absolutely wild. Like, I can't even fathom what that must feel like and be like to go from being basically at death's door, you can't stand up for more than 10 seconds at a time, to like shedding all of the weight. She's now like well under 200 pounds. Like, it's absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy. So good for her. Go Tammy. Go Tammy. Also, why is this post by creepy.org? Like, of all pages to post that. Creepy.org posted it. Like, what? But yeah, shout out to Tammy. Big ups Tammy. Big ups Tammy. That Ozempic be kicking. I wonder if she did use Ozempic. I wonder. The danger of the Ozempic is that it just makes you not hungry at all. Like, I had a family member who was on it, and it just shut off all hunger to the point where their muscles atrophied as well. That's why they call it like Ozempic face, because it also just like your body starts to consume the muscle mass in your body because you're just not eating. And so it can help you lose a lot of weight, but it can cause a lot of problems too if you're not super careful and like force feeding yourself protein shakes and exercising a lot. It's not like a magical panacea, you know. It's not. It's actually pretty tricky. Am I gonna check out Wu Chang? Yes I am. Yes, the plan is probably to have a video up in the next week or so, but yes, I do plan on checking it out. My mom used it and did wonders for her. Yeah, dude, for some people it's life-changing. For some people, and the thing is, like, if you have the choice between like morbid obesity or something and heart disease and all the stuff that comes with that, you have the choice between that and losing all the weight, but you also consume a little bit of muscle mass. This is still the better option. Like, you're still ending up way ahead. It's why like the people who are trying to be the well actually types, it's like, well, actually you shouldn't use Ozempic because it can make your face look a little funny sometimes. It's like, so I should therefore stay super overweight? Like, what? Like, that? No, it's still better, you know? Like, there's this little negative versus a massive benefit. Go with the massive benefit, you know? Just do that. Dude, just run, bro. Dude, I had a workout last night at Orange Theory that kicked my ever living ass. Dude, I'm not like a crazy rower. I'm not a crazy cardio dude. My lungs don't like it. My lungs are not happy when I do cardio. But my God, can I show where's my workouts? My previous workouts. Here. Yeah, like on the rower, I had we had 14 minutes and we just had to go as far as we could. I got to 3,400 meters, 3,394. Dude, 14 minutes of nonstop rowing is enough to make you question your entire existence. Like 2 minutes of rowing, I can do that. You just get, pump it out. 14 minutes, dude. That's a lot. And that was after we had done 25-ish minutes on the treadmill and ran like, whatever it was, 2.5 miles or something. Like, it was a lot. We were already kind of fried, and then we went to do 14 minutes of the rower, and I was like, oh. The old joke, it's funny you say that, Banana. 14 minutes of rowing, that's 15 minutes more than I could handle. One of the girls in the class, she was like, rowing for 14 minutes really isn't bad. You just have to get over that initial hurdle, and then after you get past the really hard part, the last 13 minutes really aren't that bad. It was like, yep, that's rowing. That's rowing. It's just kind of miserable. Let's see. Did I catch up on all this? Did you hear about the Supermassive news on Supermassive? Yes, I have that pulled up. We're also going to talk about that because you guys know I have some strong feelings on Directive 8020 because I did try it at Summer Games Fest. So I have some strong feelings on it, and I think that this is the layoffs are unfortunate. I think the delay is the right move though. So we'll talk about it. We'll talk about that. I do have it pulled up. Rest assured. Yes. Still has the dumbest mechanic ever. Yeah. I mean, I can ramble about that for an hour and a half because it's just, to me, it's so insanely antithetical to what it is. Ross Danby Gamer. Luke, do you have a Discord server? I do. You should join it. It is for members only, members and Twitch subs only, to keep it a little bit exclusive. If you don't know, we used to have a public Discord server, and we had all sorts of problems. We had some people that did some ridiculous things. So we have it locked down now to just members and like people who directly support the stream, which it breeds a very fun environment because we don't really have trolls. We don't have people trying to ruin the fun. We don't have problems like that. And we have like entire pages dedicated to memes. We have a Temple of Todd where we just share the good word of Todd, let us pray. So you should absolutely get in there. Absolutely. We also have Pet Appreciation Corner, where I share pictures of Mr. Romeo eating his gullet strip. Look how big his paws are, dude. He's gonna be huge. Look how big those things are. He's 4 months old. Look how ridiculous that is. It's absolutely insane. So we share that, and then some of you guys share pictures of your puppers. Oh my goodness, that's a good puppy. I do love this picture too. Just so cheerful. I love the sweater too. Little sweater hoodie thing. How do I get in? All you do, you become a member or a Twitch sub, and then you go into Discord, and there's this little gear button, user settings. You tap that. There's a connections tab. Come here. A connections tab. And right here in connections, you just connect then your accounts, YouTube or Twitch or whatever, and then you'll receive an auto invite to the server. Bada bing, bada boom. Super easy. Thank you for the gifted membership, by the way. There you go. I wonder if we can set a goal for memberships. Can I do that? No, it's only super chats.
Gam_1998 donated 50 Saudi Riyals through Super Chat.
Thank you.
Forgot to add, with Ellie's voice, in the end of the previous Super Chat, slightly smiling face. Anyways, off topic. But what game have you genuinely liked its atmosphere but absolutely
hated everything else about it? Ooh, a game where I love the atmosphere but hate the game itself. Dude, that's tricky. That's tricky. OM Lambert, good to see you, my friend. Also, Ross, thank you for the sub with Prime, and MMO Rano, thank you for the sub with Prime. A game where I love the vibe but I hate the gameplay. How about The Sinking City? It's really clunky. Like really, really clunky. The Sinking City, if you don't know, is that like Sinking City. It's this like Lovecraftian horror game. And it's got some phenomenal world building. It's super spooky. It's super trippy. I love Lovecraftian horror. It like tickles a part in my brain that I didn't know I had. So I love Lovecraftian horror. And I've played this game. I mean, I can talk. I've even played it on the Switch with the Switch port. And I love what they do with it. But the gameplay is so clunky that it really can be difficult sometimes. Like sometimes you get to a mission where 3 different things break and you're like, I'm really trying here. I'm really trying. I love so much of what we're doing, but this is driving me crazy. Like, how does this not look just totally awesome? How crazy is this? It's so trippy. It's so cool. But a lot of it just breaks constantly, and it's got problems. They are doing a sequel, which seems to be or seems to have a ton of potential as well. So I'm really hopeful that they pull that off. I'm following it closely, but I do love The Sinking City. I'm just frustrated that it can be so clunky at times. So yeah, I'm sure it's much better now than it was at launch. At launch, it was really, really clunky and there were a lot of broken things. I'm guessing nowadays it's working much better and you can play it and have a really good time. I know they did the remaster of it. So that I'm sure helped a lot as well, but yeah, that's the one that comes to mind. That's the one that comes to mind is The Sinking City. Love the vibes, frustrated that it's so clunky. Yeah, very good question. Good question. Is that Todd in the background? Yeah, our Todd and Savior. It's like a detective game. So it's kind of like those old Frogware Sherlock Holmes games. It's like those. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. What should our next goal be? I'm allowed to set another goal. What should it be? I don't know. I want to light the candle for talking about Starfield. I feel like that's only appropriate, so I don't really want to set a goal for that. I don't know. Row for 16 minutes? Oh, dude, that would kill me. That would kill me. Okay. Well, yeah, okay, the jacket. Okay, that's fun. That's fun. I like that. Okay. 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 I'll go get and put on the Todd jacket. Okay, let's do that. Voila. I miss Frogware Sherlock Holmes games. Hope they're managing given their conditions. Yeah, dude, they went into a ton of, they had a lot of problems. They had a lot of problems. Legal disputes, all sorts of things. Vest streak like TSP. If I ever whip out a vest, you have permission to, I don't even know what, but can you imagine? No, what was the really stupid one? He started, oh yeah, he was like, I'll eat a Skittle for every like donation or something. Or like he at one point was like, when we hit the goal, I'll spin in my chair. Money, please. Like, so insane. Oh my God. Can you even imagine? Can you even imagine somebody unironically being like, give me money and I'll spin in my chair? It's so stupid. Anyway, sorry, we're distracted. You talking about Bloodlines 2 today? Dev has gone independent. Oh, really? Dude, speaking of Frogwares also had problems with their publisher. All sorts of problems. All sorts of problems. My goodness. Okay. We should finally talk about this. You ready? Yeah, money, please. Clip from Parks and Rec. That's what I'm thinking of every time I go, money, please. Ebenhard, thank you for the membership as well. Okay, we got to do this. Where did I put Todd? Okay. New segment. Have the puppy visit us? Oh, that's a good goal. I could do that. Last time he was down here, he peed on the carpet live on stream. I don't know if you saw that clip. He gets excited. He's a puppy. He gets excited and he pees. But we could bring him down for a little bit. That could be funny. I appreciate that he's a showman, you know? He could have peed right here. He could have peed back there. He could have peed around the corner. But no, my dog's such a showman that he's like, this is my moment. And he comes right in frame, not where chat is, right there, perfectly in frame in the center to pee on the carpet. That's pretty baller, dude. That's pretty baller. I didn't even have to train him. He was born like that. It's great. He's a good guy. He's a good puppy. Okay. Are you ready? Anything for the views? Yeah, exactly. Okay, everybody. Oh, should I? Hold on. Somebody told me I should do something. Hold on. Okay, hold on. This will be worth it. Oh my God, this is very stupid.
Caleb donated $10 through Super Chat. Hey, some people would pay extra for that.
Some people would. It's true. Some fun people that have elevated tastes, I guess. Is taste the wrong word for that? Is taste a bad word for that? I don't know. Thank you. Thank you for the 10, Caleb. Thank you. That's funny. Dude, wait, what? Nightbot just hid your Stop posting links? Oh, wait, did it have... Oh, I see. So Luke posted a comment in chat saying, in replying to Caleb, like Mr. Me, but because you wrote Mr. Me, Nightbot thought you were posting a link. And so it deleted the comment because it was Mr. Me. So it thought it was a link. Okay. I was like, did the bot evolve? And it's like, no more Mr. Me discussion. That's funny. That's funny. But okay, it's just because it misunderstood. It just misunderstood. That makes sense. Do you ever watch Casual Criminalist? I have actually seen Casual Criminalist. I don't know why I can't say that word. I have actually seen that. I have. Yes. Yeah. Hold on, it finished generating it.
Starfield, opus
Yes, this is exactly as stupid as it appears. Thank you, my man. One of you dared me to generate a full Latin choir prayer thing about Starfield before we do the next segment on it. So here we are. It's honestly beautiful. This used to be a gaming channel. That's where you realize it never was. It was just a Todd Howard gooning channel. That's all it was. The translation is, "O Todd Howard, master of tales, whose vision crafts stars and worlds. In Starfield, your glorious work, you gift mortals with infinite galaxies. Through astral paths, you guide us among stars and wandering nebulae. Bethesda, your sacred temple, where story and freedom unite. Grant us, we beseech, celestial travelers, that in your worlds we may find strength, explorers, heroes, and dreamers, forever under your starry light. Amen." Amen. This is one of those moments where I pray that Todd sees this clip out of context of us listening to a Latin prayer about his game. I just think that would be so delightfully hilarious. But what are you going to do? What are you going to do? Okay, let's talk about it. Enough of that. News, Amy. Well, everybody, it finally happened. This is just a quick little update, of course, because there's not a whole lot to say. I posted a video to the big channel about this like an hour ago, so I won't repeat all of the nitty-gritty details because we just don't really need to. But Starfield finally received an update. After all this time, finally. It finally happened. What exactly happened? Well, this is specifically within the beta branch, so it's not even super officially public yet, but they've not really said or done anything with Starfield for this entire year. And this update that they've posted now includes some of the most like unshocking things ever. The primary top ticket item, the main thing this update does is it provides minor improvements to format and display in creation menus. After months, after being a no-show at the Xbox showcase, not saying or doing anything, everybody wondering if they've canceled support for the game, everybody's wondering what the hell is happening, they updated the in-game shop menu. So there's that. Priorities, ladies and gentlemen, priorities. They addressed an issue that could cause extreme temperature gear to appear incorrectly, minor improvements to sorting in the missions menu, and then general crash and stability fixes. Okay. They do say specifically, looking ahead, we're continuing work on future updates, and we'll share more about the exciting things we have planned for Starfield in the coming months. But that's it. Bear in mind, they have not said anything in whatever. It's been since March. However, April, May, June, July, 4 months. In March, they replied to somebody saying, "We know you're eager for an update. We truly appreciate your passion for Starfield. The team's been hard at work, and while we're not ready to share specific details just yet, we have a lot of exciting things planned for the game this year that we can't wait to talk about when the time is right. We're always listening and taking your feedback to heart. Thanks for being part of the journey with us." And then they went silent for another 4 months. 4. And they come back with an update to the in-game shop. Because of course they did. Because of course. Like, what else would they do? Fix the game? No. Are you crazy? Are you insane? Of course they're not doing that. It's so on the nose, dude. Where even is the game? I want to show you. I want to show you in real time. Share this with you in your heart song so that you can see what I'm talking about, okay? Because Starfield, at this point, it really does embody everything that is wrong with BGS. Like, the meme for years was that Bethesda was going to put out a game and then let modders fix it, right? We've all heard the memes. We've all heard the stories. That's what they do. But that was like kind of true. They would still update it and do stuff. But, you know, the extent of them letting modders fix it was basically just because they were lazy, right? Now, there is a direct incentive for them not to fix stuff ever. And the reason is because they have the creations menu now. And that creations menu, you know what it does? It allows for them to sell you those fixes. Do you have a problem with gear progression? It's a big problem in Starfield. In the unmodded game, I played much too long stretches without finding gear that made me want to switch my current loadout. Many rewards and treasure chests felt disappointing, therefore. The reason for this was that I stumbled early on over gear pieces with stats that were vastly out of the loot progression sequence, which happens to a lot of people because it's an open game and BGS doesn't have like a dynamic loot system. They have a set fixed one. So they went in and fixed it. Look at all this description of how it works. Linearity, slow travel, all these different things. This is available for $3. I did a lot of digging. I asked people around, including some modders that know what they're talking about. And I'm not going to share their names because they've all signed NDAs and they can't be specific. But I'm pretty sure I know what the split is, okay? And again, this probably is different depending on which tier of creator you are. So for example, the Watchtower expansion DLC thing that's made by a modder that's been really highly praised. People are saying this is the actual first expansion, even though it's not made by them. This, I'm guessing Kingath gets a better cut. I'm guessing because it's a more valuable thing for them versus the standard cut they'd give to these guys. But my understanding now, after speaking to people who would know, and BGS could come out and correct me if I'm wrong, but they haven't because I think this is right. My understanding is that of the $1 that is spent on an item, okay, so we got $1, 40 cents goes to BGS. 30 cents goes to the platform holder. So if you're buying the microtransaction through the Xbox platform, you pay 30 cents to them, whether it's Game Pass or on the Xbox hardware. Or if you played the game through Steam, Steam takes the 30% cut. And so this goes to, we'll just say the platform. Okay. That's the platform cut. Might still be Microsoft, might be Steam. And then the remaining 30% goes to the modder. So for each dollar you spend, 30 cents is ending up in the modder's pocket. And if you're playing through Game Pass or through Xbox, 70% of what's being spent is going to Microsoft/BGS. Now, it's better than nothing. It's better than nothing. But what's my big problem with this? It's that they literally now have a significant financial incentive to never fix any of this. Oh, we have a gear progression problem? We could fix it and send out the update for free. That means we have to pay for the developers to fix it. And then we post it, it goes to everybody for free. Or we can let the modder do it. We didn't have to pay them. And in fact, they put it up. We're going to take 40 to 70% effectively of that $3. So they fixed our game and we get paid for it. Back in the day when the mods, like the standard mod package was just through Nexus, and that's what it was. Console mods weren't really a thing. Or if they were, it was just free, you know. Back then, it was just their laziness. Like they wouldn't fix things because they were lazy and they knew the modders would fix it. Now they have an incentive to never fix it because modders will just come along, do it better, faster, and they don't have to pay anybody for it. And in fact, they will get paid for doing nothing. Like, this is fundamentally the problem culturally within BGS, is that they have created a platform that incentivizes them doing significantly less and even incentivizes them breaking things. Because the example I used in the big video I just did on the main channel, I used the example of Elder Scrolls 6, right? One of the age-old problems within Bethesda games is inventory management, with like things being too heavy, with your stuff being over encumbered, right? They could fix that. And they could come out and be like, okay, well, we overhauled all of the inventory systems. We did all this stuff so that it's not a hassle. It's not a headache. You don't really have to think about it too much because people said that it wasn't fun and they didn't like it. They could do that, or they could leave it in its frustrating state, and then you can just buy an unlimited carrying capacity mod for $1. And then they get 40 cents off that. So they created a problem and then they just sell you back the solution. Why not? Yeah, exactly. Why fix it when you can make them pay for the fix and then you get paid and you didn't have to do anything anyways? It's so stupid. But this has become the standard, unfortunately, for them. And the real unfortunate part is that now this has been going on for what, 7 years? Because the initial announcement of paid mods was through the Creation Club, and I believe that was 2018. Now it's become standardized. Now it's considered normal. And none of this is considered weird or strange within the BGS community, because they've conditioned the gamers within their community to become used to it. And now what do we hear all the time? Whenever I talk about this, I end up with like BGS fans coming in saying, well, Luke, this is a way for us to support the modders, which is why we like paid mods. Like, bro, think about it for 2 seconds. If you're BGS, like, put on your businessman hat. If you work at BGS and your goal is to create a platform where you can sell mods to people, because that's free money for you for years and years and years after the game launches, how are you going to sell it? Guys, this is a way for us to make money perpetually without having to do anything. Or are you going to say, yeah, you give us money for the paid mods, and this is our way of supporting modders? And some of them are verified. They're what are called verified modders, where they get paid up front to create certain mods, and they don't pay out like a royalty structure. They don't pay them out cuts of the revenue. They get paid up front, almost just like contracted employees. But it's different for everybody. Some of them work that way, others don't. It's just depends. Come on. There we go. Catastrophic damage. So it's not super clear how this split works at the end of the day, but that's also, I think, very intentional. BGS could have come out and said, this is how we do it. We pay modders this much, and we pay them that much because we care about their well-being, and this isn't our work, so we're not too concerned with milking them dry. So, you know, we could take 40%, but we're only going to take 10%. The modder takes 90. They could come out and say that, but they don't. And I think it's because the actual number that they're taking is much higher than the public probably thinks it is. And but it's been pitched as this great pro-consumer, pro-modder way of supporting the modders. And it does technically give them some cash. It does. But it gives them significantly less, I think, than you would probably expect. And it also is just a built-in incentive for them to never have to fix anything. And if anything, it creates an incentive for BGS to actively create problems so that they can sell you the solution through mods. Come on, you bastard. See, notice how all of my weapons are crazy powerful against these guys and all the level scaling is screwed up? There is a fix for that. For $3. It's so stupid. The whole thing is stupid. So they have updated it. They have technically updated Starfield. Not in the way I think anybody was expecting them to. And, you know, I can't say I'm that surprised or shocked that after all this time, the one improvement that they're making is for the in-game store effectively. Again, I can't say I'm surprised. It just is what it is. If we go to the actual discussion board, let me show you what some of the fans of the game are saying. Okay. Let me just show you a little teaser. Look at this. Okay. People start blowing him up for being positive. After 7 months of radio silence, I've got to say this is quite disheartening. I'm not demanding free or new content from a single player game, but to see that in all the time that has passed, there's not even an attempt to improve the gameplay loop, the lack of uniquely generated POIs, the neutered legendary system, or the ridiculous level scaling. It's just saddening. I'm still holding on to some hope that the DLC number 2 can be an honest improvement to the game, but to see so little acknowledgement from Bethesda or even an attempt at all to improve things is just disappointing. It's probably easier to just move on, but nobody wants a game to be bad. We come here to play good games and enjoy life. I hope things can steer in a better direction. I'm not angry. I'm just disappointed. What a joke. It's a Bethesda game. What did you expect? It's a nothing burger. Shocker. Please remake Morrowind. Hope this fixes the shipbuilder save load crash. I don't think it did. So we buy games to beta test it now, I see. Yep. So that's the update for Starfield. I do think we will see an update soon. I think that they're going to bring it to Gamescom. My official prediction, locking it in now, is that they're going to go to Gamescom in August. And I think they're going to announce, just like they did with Indiana Jones, that they are going to be releasing it on PS5. And I think they're going to be releasing it as a complete edition with 2 expansions, Shattered Space and whatever the new one is. And I think they're going to sell it at full price. I think it's going to be $70. I previously thought it was going to be $80, but this morning Microsoft walked back the $80 price point. So I don't think they're doing that anymore. But I do think they're going to try to release it at full price on PlayStation. We'll see how that goes. But that's my expectation. So there you go. A little more Starfield talk. It's not as I said in the main channel video, it's not a day that ends in Y unless I can talk about Starfield a little bit. So there you go. But $70 for Outer Worlds 2 is still too much, IMO. I mean, yeah, it's also, yeah. We'll talk about the framing of all of this, because whenever it's all about price anchoring. You have an $80 price point. If you price it then at 70, it feels like you're getting something, like they're doing something to help you out. When 6 months ago, hell, 3 months ago, $80 was unconscionable. And you're like, of course you're going to release at 70. Of course, that's full price. Now they release at 70 and it's like, thank you. It's like, no, thank you. It should never have been 80. Like 80 was insane. Like, ugh. Anyway, we'll talk about that. Let's shift there. Let me catch up on Super Chats real quick, and then I want to talk about this, because yes, Microsoft made a huge pivot. They walked back, which Microsoft doesn't tend to do. They walked back the previously announced price point for Outer Worlds 2. This morning, breaking news. They just walked it back. Yeah. They're issuing refunds. The game's not out yet. Like, it's crazy. It's crazy. We'll talk about it. Let's see. Where did I leave off? If Luke interviews Todd, he needs to wear the jacket and light the candle. Yeah, I mean, I think naturally. I realistically think that there's like very, very little chance Todd would ever want to talk with me, which is totally fine. I wouldn't want to talk with me either if I found out somebody had a cardboard cutout of me and lit candles with my face on it, making me look like a patron saint. I get it. This is weird. You know, I totally understand. No shame. Rikitis, thank you for the 5. On the other hand, Microsoft just backed down from their first $80 game. Obviously still coming later, but there was a strategy shift at least. Yeah, I think that it's pretty clear what happened. Let's talk about that. New segment. Something amazing happened. Something happened that very rarely, if ever, happens. A multi-trillion-dollar corporation is walking back a decision they made before even seeing the full outcome of it. Pretty impressive, pretty baller. This doesn't really happen. What happened? Microsoft concedes that the Outer Worlds 2 retail price was too high. Xbox says it will, quote, keep our full-priced holiday releases at $70. They previously announced that the Outer Worlds 2 was going to release at $80, but then they walked it back. It was also, as you can see here from the initial wave, this was back in May, where they were initially alluding to price hikes and everything. And then after the summer showcase in June, they said Outer Worlds 2 was going to be releasing at $80. And this started a whole groundswell of rage. I mean, it was a lot. Basically, you know, Obsidian started getting lit up for it, and everybody was wondering, like, what are you thinking? I don't think the Outer Worlds 2 looks bad. I just don't think it looks like an $80 game. Like, if you're talking about GTA 6, we see an $80 price tag. I think we'll all go, I mean, I can't say I'm surprised. It kind of looks like it. It doesn't mean we like it, but I think that a lot of people would go like, yeah, that's what I expected. I don't think anybody expected them to try to put this at 80. I mean, that's crazy. That's crazy. It's just wild. Like, I don't think it'll be bad, but it looks like one of those like Obsidian AA style games that I would expect to be priced slightly below AAA pricing. I would expect this to be priced at like 60. That's where I think this would be like a comfortable price point for this game based on what I've seen so far. Not saying it's bad. I said the same thing about Avowed. I don't think Avowed gave off AAA vibes. I don't think that made sense at 70. But that's what they're going to try to do here for non-Game Pass players, is get them to pay full AAA price for it. Which, you know, they'll get some sales for it, but more than anything, it's trying to push people into signing up for Game Pass. That's the biggest thing they're trying to do with it. So having said that, they announced it was going to 80, but in the time since then, there's been some other events. So for example, Borderlands 4, it was insinuated, not officially confirmed, but insinuated that it was going to be releasing at 80 as well. Eventually they walked that back and said, nope, it's releasing at 70. And now we're getting the update officially that this is changing. So as you can see here, announced across Xbox social channels, Microsoft and Obsidian revealed that The Outer Worlds 2 will no longer be 80 at launch, returning to the current industry standard of 70. Quote, we're focused on bringing players incredible worlds to explore, and we'll keep our full-priced holiday releases, including The Outer Worlds 2, at 70, in line with current market conditions, the Xbox spokesperson explained in a statement to Windows Central. Now, what caused this? What happened? What happened? I think the pre-order numbers were a poopy, which, yes, is technically the technical term. I think they were crap. All of these games rely pretty heavily on pre-orders to gauge interest. So I've heard people ask, why are pre-orders so important? For one, it's because it locks up your money. That's part of it. They get your sale up front. They don't have to worry about you remembering the game launches, you know, on launch day, or having the time to play it. It tells them, you know, you get the money early, you're locked in. That's part of it. The other component of it is that it helps with projections. And when you have money coming in through pre-orders and you say, oh, we hit pre-order targets 10% above what we thought, then you might increase marketing in certain markets, right?
$10 through Super Chat.
Thank you.
I think is to be priced under AAA pricing. You know, 60 inches, that hurts to hear. That 60 is less than AAA. I want to go back.
Yeah, dude. But that's also part of this. And we'll get to that, the price anchoring discussion, because they've priced it at 70 now. And that's like, now people are celebrating it because it's better than 80. But Outer Worlds 2 being priced at 80 was always insane. Being priced at 70 now, I still think is probably too much for the game that it's going to be. But it just, at least it's better than 80. That's basically what the discourse is now. You know, it's ruling with an iron fist, and then when you let off a little bit, people thank you. It's like, no, 80 was insane. 70 was also too high. 60 is about right. You know, it's the same thing with like Borderlands 4. Maybe you don't think Borderlands 4 is worth the full AAA price. It's good that it's not 80, but it's still $70 goddamn dollars. You know, like it's still crazy expensive. But because of how they framed it, going to 80 and then pulling back, it feels like they've done something nice for you. It feels like they helped you out, right? Even though they kind of haven't. So, but going back to pre-orders, basically the problem or the reason pre-orders is important beyond just getting your money up front is that it helps with projections, and maybe, you know, you get information from that. So let's say that they open up pre-orders for Outer Worlds 2, they put that out, and they see that the game is actually seeing crazy high pre-order numbers within a specific market, like Brazil. And then they're like, oh, let's increase marketing spend in Brazil because for whatever reason, that market we're doing particularly well in, and they can readjust and do all of that. Back in the day, it was really useful for ordering and shipping out physical units because you could make sure that you had enough physical units for where the interest was. There's all sorts of things like that. So, and I mean, there's other components that are useful for it too, but primarily that's the big thing, is that it helps with projections. It helps with figuring out where you need to put your resources and focus, especially because a lot of these games have marketing campaigns that kick off close to launch using pre-order numbers as part of it. So for example, there was, I forget which game it was. Yeah, I'm blanking on it. There was a game, a live service game that was coming out that showed through pre-order numbers that a lot of the people pre-ordering it in their Steam libraries had overlap with certain types of games, whether it's RPGs or Baldur's Gate or whatever. And so they're like, oh, because there's overlap there, let's target Baldur's Gate. Let's target Baldur's Gate streamers, YouTubers, people who have covered that game, and let's have them advertise our live service game because there's overlap between the players that like that type of content and the people that are buying our game and pre-ordering it, so they can try to capture that audience more. It basically just gives you more data that you can use to better market the game as you get to launch, and it's useful in that sense. But I think if they went so far as to walk back the $80 price point, at this point, months out from launch, right? Like it's coming... When is it coming? September or October or something? When does Outer Worlds 2 launch? October 29th. October 29th. Months out, and they're walking the price point back. That to me says those pre-order numbers were real bad. I think if they went so far as to walk it back that much this early, they were really worried about how they were doing. So it might be a little bit too late. I mean, at this point, I think a lot of people have already been like, okay, well, I'm not going to buy it at full price. I'll wait till Game Pass, or I'll wait for a sale or something. Because now the reputation is going to precede it, certainly. But waiting going this early, months out, and walking the price point back, that's wild. I'm guessing the numbers were pretty abysmal. As even this guy, I believe this is Jez. Yeah, Jez on Windows Central says, as good as the Outer Worlds 2 looks, I think $80 would have been a tough pill to swallow for gamers who are already dealing with rising costs elsewhere, who are also increasingly looking to free-to-play games to offset the rising cost of living. Cynically, it wouldn't be a stretch to think that the $80 price tag was an attempt to push people over to Game Pass, which would have represented a significant saving for those wanting to play Obsidian's new sci-fi epic. There have already been questions swirling around Xbox Game Pass's viability as a business model, particularly for replacing the sales metric cannibalized by or from internal studios. In any case, it's a rare win for consumers in a world where everything seems to get perpetually more expensive with no sign of stopping. Part of me wonders if Microsoft did some kind of analysis on what kind of sales impact $80 would have had for the upcoming Call of Duty Black Ops 7 and decided they didn't like what they saw. That's the other component, is that they are specifically saying in this statement, we will keep our full priced holiday releases, including the Outer Worlds 2, at $70. That includes a Starfield PS5 release and Call of Duty. And $10 multiplied across 30 million units or whatever Call of Duty would have sold is not insignificant. You know, 300 million, quite nice. But they're even saying that that will be stuck at 70 as well, for the base version at least. So I think he's probably right. The pre-order numbers were probably really bad. And I wouldn't be surprised if they also had done a lot of internal research, and if they did like further research and surveys and stuff into it and found that the numbers were just really, really bad. And they were like, okay, well, we just can't push that far. Because what's happening is a lot of people now are getting priced out to the point where they just shrug and ignore the game and separate it in their mind. They go, 6 months. A year, I'll get it on sale, which probably means for like 50% of those people that they never buy it. I think that's a huge component of that. I think it's a big part of it. Francisco, thank you. Have you finished the altars? If so, what did you think? This is like $1, by the way. Because of the currency conversion. You're totally fine. Thank you for the super chat. And as for the altars, yes. Really good. On a subsequent run, though, I ran into a problem where I think it's the engineer. He has a bit of dialogue that never clears. So you go to talk to him about something that happened, and or the technician, rather. You talk to him, and he just like stares at you, and the dialogue never starts. And so you can never progress that. It's like I got to a full-on soft lock. And I've tried reboot. I've tried like on the Steam Deck. I've tried different devices and stuff. It's just the save file is screwed up. So I have to restart again if I want to go again, which is unfortunate. Yeah, the Gen Z stare. Yeah, no, you go because like he has to talk to you as part of like the main story progression thing. And you go and you talk to him, and then he just stares at you and never says anything. It's kind of frustrating, honestly. But yeah, the altars really good. If you've not played it, you honestly should go try the altars. If you like sim management games, really good. Good day. Yeah, it's really, really good. Dude, I just realized Jake Lucky's Twitter description is long neck guy. Oh, he's so funny. Jake is the guy that wore what looked to be homemade bum jean shorts in like Seattle, Washington in the cold spring air. Like he's just a character, dude. He's just a character. He's a funny dude. He's just funny. Yeah, he's a character. He's a character. Let's see. Close that. Okay.
Luke Warfield donated $49.99
Thank you.
through Super Chat.
Like the name too.
Hey Luke, I have maybe a hot take.
Okay.
The gaming community is expressing an open world game burnout, and we want more linear games like Black Myth Wukong. Elden Ring is overrated because
once you beat the game, repeated playthroughs can become a slog. Ooh. I mean, Elden Ring, I would think repeat playthroughs because it's so big, it would like stay exciting. It wouldn't become a slog. As for the first part, I do think you're right about the first chunk. First of all, thank you for the 50. Yeah, that's ridiculously generous. That's Pog right there. Thank you. As for the first chunk of your super chat, I think you're right. I think that there's been a burnout on games of quantity over quality, and people are looking for higher quality. How you communicate that to people is trickier, but I think people rely on their gut a lot more now when it comes to like that initial impression, and then they rely a lot more on reviews and like Metacritic scores than they used to. We pointed to the example of Mafia 3, for example. That was in 2016. The game was critically panned, and it still sold 4.5 million units in its first week. That's ridiculous. But I think it's because people at that time were okay with spending money on something that might not be very good just to try it because it's part of a franchise they like. And that still is true of some franchises, like a Monster Hunter, for example. Monster Hunter Wilds had similar technical issues that people just overlooked. But I think on the whole, people now are more skeptical. They're more cautious with their money. And part of it is just because times are tight and people are being asked to spend more money on more games. So they have to be more selective. So I do think there's a component of people that are looking for something that's higher production value, that's polished, that is more unique and memorable. I think the age of a game being sold on 100 hours of gameplay are largely gone. A lot of people, at least in the West, kind of roll their eyes and shrug when they hear that. Like, I remember hearing a clip from what was it? It was like 2014 or something. And they were talking about Dragon Age Inquisition, and specifically saying that one of the reasons they were most excited about Dragon Age Inquisition, this was at like E3, an E3 panel or something, was because it had over 100 hours of content. And I don't see people acting that way nowadays. I don't see people being like, oh, yeah, I'm getting in that because it has 100 hours. If it's 100 hours of good content, oh, I'm in. But it's about the quality of the content still in that case. It's not just about volume, you know? People love the slop. I think some people love the slop. Some people like getting in there and they just love it. They love it. Somebody on the Discord last night was asking about why Ubisoft, for example. This is another reason to get into the Discord, because we have a page where you can ask me questions and then I reply with these voice to text books. But let's see, was it this one? Yeah. The blind spot developers like Ubisoft have when it comes to cutting content to sell later. So like a question about how Ubisoft thinks about things and why they cut stuff out just to sell it back later, and that seems way worse than what Elden Ring does, for example. And basically my book of an answer is that I think a major component of it is that they I think they are servicing a different clientele, and I think Ubisoft gamers are much more willing to put up with that stuff and are willing to spend money on it and are used to it, which I think is unfortunate for the broader industry, but whatever. But going back to the rest of your again ridiculously generous super chat, as for Elden Ring being overrated because once you beat the game, repeated playthroughs can become a slog. In my experience, repeated game playthroughs on Elden Ring have stayed actually more interesting, but I force myself to play with a different like weapon and different play style. So I forced myself to go through, if I played a like agility focused build first time around, I will then go and be like, okay, I'm going to go slow with like a massive hammer or something. Like that's my play style for the next run through, or magic base. And I force myself to change it up. So it's almost like a different combat system every single time you play. That's worked well for me to keep it interesting and exciting. Do a playthrough with a bow. Good luck. Don't do that. Don't do that. Nobody do that. Bonk builds are fun. Even in like Monster Hunter, bonk builds are fun. Yeah. I would encourage you, if you're going to do repeated run-throughs of Elden Ring, shake it up. Try something like really wacky. Look up weird builds in Elden Ring and try one, because it's crazy. Yeah. Fist only. Oh man, I'm not capable of doing that. I can do any other build than SCG Greatswords. Have I played No Rest for the Wicked? Yes. I mean, obviously, like the game's not done, but yeah, No Rest for the Wicked is one I'm keeping an eye on. I hope that they pull that off. We'll see. I know they're having trouble right now. Just as a studio financially, I think they're having some troubles. Hope they figure it out, because I think that game's beautiful, has a really interesting art style, and yeah, I like it. Let's see. And then David with the 2, check out a video on Beta Decay by Jakey Pants. Beta. Which is Beta Decay? Early access teaser.
All right, so
it's an ambitious indie sci-fi game. Interesting. I've got it pulled up in a tab. I can take a look at it and check it out and see if it would be a good fit for us to watch. Interesting. I've got it pulled up. I'll check it out. I guess this is a mini thing. Mini segment. Joy, thank you for that one. Recommend this channel called Gamers. They do deep dives on games and development and game companies. Keep in mind because you mentioned you like the kind of stuff we watch on Try for a development video. Thank you for the recommendation. I'll pull it up in another tab. I'll check it out. Thank you. Thank you for the recommendation. There we go. Okay. Booyah. Booyah. Thank you. Thank you for the recommendation. We'll check it out. Let's see. Did they let you play Wu-Chang early, Luke? I'm not sure if I'm allowed to say. No comment. I don't have a review or anything. If that's like the broader question, I don't have a review. And I probably won't do a review of it, like a full review of it. Just because there's some other irons in the fire that I got to take care of, you know? But yeah. That's a quart-sized coffee. Yeah. It's just, what would you guys do if you found out I was actually like the size of Andre the Giant and everything in my studio is just bigger? It's like, do you guys remember that clip of, hold on, maybe I can find it. Can I find it? Yeah, this. It's like when Kai Cenat had his studio supersized. So they just built a replica of his studio, but everything's way bigger just for the fun of it. Honestly, they did a good job. Like, how big must this TV be? Like 85, 90 inches or something to look like a monitor? Like, that's ridiculous. But that's, yeah. This is actually just real size, yeah. This is actually regular size. He normally has to use children's toys. Yeah, that's pretty funny. That's pretty funny. Like, I don't really watch Kai's stream or anything, but that's pretty freaking funny. I mean, that's pretty funny. That's pretty funny. That's pretty good. Okay, should we talk about this real quick? Need the awesome power Dr. Doom Evil theme for the close-up zoom-ins. Yeah, we should. I should add that to the soundboard. That would be good. I should do that. I should totally do that. I'll make a note. That would be funny. Okay, let's talk about this. Okay. New mini step. So, Battlefield 6, the worst kept secret in gaming right now, it is seeing further leaks come out. People are discussing it. Release date windows. People are discussing when the official reveal is going to happen. And long story short, it's expected to release October 10th. And it's looking like it will probably have a different price point based on platform, which is interesting. How much will it cost? One downside of the news, though, is that according to the report, Battlefield 6 will cost players 80 euros, but it's unclear on what that will translate to in dollars. Black Ops 6 is 80 euros, but 70 USD, for example. The report outlines that there will be two editions of the game, a standard edition and a phantom edition, which includes additional in-game content. It's reported that the game will cost 70 for the standard edition on PC, but 80 on PS5 and Series X and S. And this is the full report that they put out. Of course, not in English. Can I translate? Translate for me. Translation. And, you know, some content creators have gotten this shipped to them. Not me. Not me. I am not him. But some content creators have gotten this thing shipped to them. So they're starting to do some marketing stuff for Battlefield 6. You know, they're getting the ball rolling, but it's expected that on PC, it will be priced cheaper than anywhere else. PC, it will be 70, on PS5, 80, Xbox, 80. The Phantom Edition will be 100 on PC, 110 on PS5, 110 on Xbox, and then the upgrade to the Phantom Edition will be the same price for everybody as you would expect. But specifically, the PC version will be discounted by 10. That's the expectation. Now, why do games cost less in the USA when it's digital? Part of it, I'm sure, is that, it has to do with the value of the currency. So the value of the US dollar obviously is different than the value of like the Australian dollar do. $1 USD. What is the conversion rate? It's aggressive to Australian dollars. Yeah. $1 US equals 1.5 Australian dollars. So straight up, if you have 3 Australian dollars, it only costs you 2 American dollars. So it's why like the old joke is people like, hey, are you a millionaire? You're like, well, in Australian dollars, I am. Like that's just how currencies work. It's how currencies work. So that's part of it, is that things in Australia have bigger numbers next to them because effectively the purchasing power needed for it is in parity, in theory. Sometimes it's not the case, though. Sometimes it's just more expensive because there's other things like tariffs going on or regulatory fees and all sorts of stuff like that, which can cause problems. But that is a component of it. As for like PC being cheaper than console, I don't know if they're planning on doing like their own launcher for it, like a dedicated Battlefield launcher. I don't know if they're just thinking that playing through Steam or whatever, maybe they got a deal with Valve for it and they're paying a discounted rate. I don't know. Or maybe they just think PC is more important and they just need PC gamers in droves. So they're like, let's lower the price, get as many of them in. Console players are more accustomed to spending more, and we'll do it that way. I don't know. But I do think there is a component of it where, like, say on PlayStation 5, I do think the average PlayStation 5 gamer is accustomed to spending more on their games than like an Xbox gamer or even a PC gamer. PC gamers, we get games on Steam discount all the time. PlayStation, you get some sales, nowhere near as aggressive though. There's actually been independent research done that shows the PlayStation Store is actually like pretty aggressive when it comes to not raising prices. They actually avoid that. And I believe there's even a class action lawsuit going on right now with regard to that, like alleging monopolization and stuff like that because of how PlayStation has handled their store. It's a similar issue with Nintendo as well. Nintendo never goes on sale, but that's a component of it too. It's the same thing. Like if you're going to sell an accessory for a phone, I remember in college, if you don't know, do you guys know the company OtterBox? The company OtterBox, they make phone cases. I don't know if these are popular out of the States. I honestly don't know. But these OtterBox phones, these are based in my hometown in Fort Collins, Colorado. Like, whatever, 10 minutes away from me right now. They're based in Fort Collins. And so in college, we had OtterBox people come and talk to us like all the time. It was a very normal thing, is that they just would come in and talk to the class because I went to college like down the street from OtterBox. And one of the things they talked about was how it's way more profitable to like make accessories for iPhone. Don't dox yourself. Oh, I've talked about Fort Collins all the time. Don't worry. But it's also a big city. So don't stress it. But one of the things that they talked about was how picking is like basically pick your market. And for them, they're like, we could make phones that primarily targeted Android, for example. There's a lot of Android phones out there for sure. Plenty of cases to be made. But iPhone users are, I believe the word they used was conditioned to spend more on accessories. And as a result, if you go on iPhone, you can get away with charging $65 to $80 for a single case. $65 to $80 for a single case on a phone. But you're accustomed to that because iPhone users are used to spending more on their accessories because it's perceived as buying a premium product. Whereas Android, a lot of people view Android phones that are not flagships like the S25 Ultra or something. They view it as buying a a budget item, a budget phone. So they don't want to spend a ton of money on a phone case. So if you go and you target like PlayStation, which has also been conditioned as sort of a premium platform where you're going to spend more money on your games and you're going to get these really high quality experiences, you can get away with charging more because the customer base is conditioned to spend more. You know, that's just how it is. The cult of Apple. Oh yeah, no, it's why I've said for years, I think that, you know, Sony has been looking to Apple for inspiration for a long time, because if you can position yourself as the premium platform, that carries a good amount of weight. And you see it reflected all the time. You see people that are like PlayStation fanboy types who will have in the background of their setup, they'll have the PlayStation 5 box because they bought the console, and they'll put it in frame so you can see that they bought the PS5 Pro, to just show you how much money they spent on it. It's like a social status thing. It's weird. It's frankly kind of weird. I don't get it. Like, if you got a Rolex, show me your Rolex. You got an Omega, show me your Omega. You got a Patek Philippe, you're better than me. I get it. But like, you bought a nice piece of plastic. Cool. You know, like, whatever. Okay. Don't you do the same thing with my Todd Howard cutouts? Yes, I do. Do you have a Todd Howard cutout? No, you don't. Willing to bet you a lot. I have a Stanley Cup. How freaking dare you? You think I use Stanley Cups? This is Yeti. Banned. Honestly, I think Yeti's way better. I no shade, I guess, even though this is kind of shade. No aggressive shade to Stanley. I don't get it. I frankly don't get it. Yeti, I just think it's better. I just think they're better. In my, like, and I've tested them where, like, my wife has a Stanley. She likes it. She bought into the hype. But I'll have my, like, Yeti water bottle or whatever. I can forget that thing in the car for 2 days, and I come back out and it still is full of ice. It's ridiculous. Yeti's bougie too. Yeah. But it's nice. You buy a Yeti, you're set, dude. You're set. I'm not pretending I don't have money. I'm just not putting a PS5 box behind me because I think that's kind of cringe. Instead, I put a candle with a game developer's face on it in frame. Priorities. Hydro flask. Dude, my sister loves her hydro flask. There's also another one that they're making that's like it's like owly or owl. I don't remember what it is. It's something. It sounds like owl. Owala. That's it. She loves these. Yeah, my sister's obsessed with these. Owala. I've never used one. I drink out of mason jars, so that's
Jimbo
goated.
404 donated $10 through Super Chat. The interest in Stanley Cups years ago when they were just half the price of Yetis made sense, but not they are more, so it doesn't.
Yeah. It also, I don't understand how it started. Somebody was explaining it to me, and it like started as a TikTok trend, I think. It was like a group of Mormon moms in Utah that started a TikTok trend of how having a Stanley was like really cool. And then some lady's car burned like in a fire. And she did this like skit that I believe was fake, but she like put her Stanley into the charred remains of her car and took it out and was like, "Thank you, Stanley, for keeping my drink cold." And like, it still had ice in it. And it was so clearly fake. But people believed it and bought Stanley water bottles thinking that it would survive a car fire. Like, it's one of those things you describe, you're like, people are so stupid. But people like actually believed it. People actually believed it and bought it as a result. Like, it was crazy. It's false advertisement? No, it's TikTok. So yeah, but it's just so dumb. It's so dumb. I love my fancy water bottles. I love my Yeti for my coffee. I would never think that this would survive a car fire. Like, are you kidding me? Like how anyway. Going back to this though, I don't know how we got on Yeti. Oh yeah. So circling all the way back, Jacob, this is going to be fun for you to edit, or you just leave it all in and just go for it. I don't know. Going back to Battlefield, pricing it at 80 on consoles, I think makes sense in the context of that platform. The customers are more conditioned to spend more on each item. Like PlayStation gamers are more accustomed to spending a premium price point on a AAA game, so you can get away with it. Whereas on Steam and PC, a lot of competition, and gamers are also expecting a better deal on Steam, for example. So it's not a shock to me that they might try to do something like that to at least generate some interest on PC. Now, where exactly this breaks down, again, we don't know, because it is priced in this report in euros. Sometimes with previous games, it's been like roughly translated to 1-to-1. Other times it's been $80 or 80 euros is equivalent to about $70 USD. It just depends on how they want to do it. It could be either which way. Honestly, if we're converting it down, I wouldn't expect them to release it at 60 on PC. Maybe they shock us. Maybe EA shocks us and does that. If they're just going for total player volume, that would be good. But time will tell. Time will tell. Battlefield is best shooter, IMO. Dude, I really like Battlefield. It's why it's so cringe to me that it's still like they could have so easily gone head to head with Call of Duty, and especially with how bad Warzone was for a long time. They could have swooped in and dominated it, but instead, like, they just blew it for years. And it's just such a shame. It's such a shame. But even now, like, Battlefield 1 still looks incredible. It still looks incredible. You remember this trailer? I won't get copyright struck. Seven Nation Army playing in the background to this. Dude, this trailer is from 2016. This is from 9 years ago. 9 years ago. I still think the game looks and plays really, really well. I mean, look at the gameplay footage. This is from a gameplay trailer from a game 10 years ago. Like, how did they screw this up so bad? To the point where they basically disappeared. I mean, I think Battlefield 5 was a part of it. 2042 was a disaster, no doubt. But they should not have been struggling as much as they have been for the last handful of years. Like, they should have been cleaning up against Call of Duty that has been just totally treading water for years and years and years. They actually had unique dynamics. They had bigger scope, better visuals, I think. They had a more grounded tone, which has been connecting with people. And then with Battlefield 5, they just kind of abandoned the grounded tone and just go, I don't even know where they were, like what they were thinking with that. And then 2042, they just were like, oh, what do the fans want? Okay. Can we do the opposite? And then they rushed it as well. And it was just a dumpster fire. Absolute dumpster fire. But look at this. Look at this. Now, premieres July 24th. Tomorrow. Official reveal trailer. It's happening. 19 hours, baby. 19 hours. So I hope they pull it off, because God knows they need, like, COD needs competition. They need somebody to come and kick them in the teeth and just be like, look, there's an alternative. So I really hope, for the good of the FPS genre, that this is baller. I really hope that they pull it off. The playtest leaks and stuff have been really, really positive. People have been really stoked on it. The leaks have looked really, really good. They've been responding to fan feedback in a good way. I hope that this is good. I hope they are not rushing it at the end. And I hope that it's really good, because my God, we need competition. You just do. And there's not really anything that can take on Call of Duty. Like, there's just not really another option. So I think it kind of has to be them. This is bait, by the way. There's no way this is real. Yeah, just read that. There's no way that's real. That's bait. That's bait. You had Concord. Oh, that's true. I forgot. Yeah. I forgot about that Call of Duty killer, Concord. How could I forget? How did I lose? I missed that one. Oh, shoot. Oh, man. Battlefield at its peak, then they just started to lose touch with the game. Yeah, I think that's a component of it. I think it also, part of it is that, let's see. There was one person, was it Jake, who tweeted it out? I'm trying to find it. I don't remember who posted it. No. Yeah, there were just things around Battlefield 5 and then 2042 that were just a dumpster fire. Absolute dumpster fire. I know. And we were relying on Splitgate 2 to fix it. You remember that game from Summer Games Fest? Yeah, they are officially unlaunching it and going back to beta. Which as many people have said, I didn't know you could do that. But they're unlaunching the game to go back to beta. This was the guy that said make FPS games great again. He had it on his hat and everything. That was his whole speech. And at Summer Games Fest, he's saying how it's time that we take back our genre. We don't do the stupid stuff like Call of Duty, like. And everybody's like, yeah, that's what you should do. And then they reveal that they have $100 microtransactions in their game. And it's like, okay, so you're just doing the same thing. Okay, well, okay, I could have told you how this would go, but there you go. So anyway, that's Battlefield 6. We will see more about Battlefield 6 tomorrow when they officially reveal it. I hope that they nail it and do a really good job. Fingers crossed. But time will tell. Next stream, we should have plenty to talk about. Tomorrow, I may actually stream instead of Friday. Maybe that's what we do. Because Friday, I'm taking the day off to spend the day with Nikki. We're going to go just hang out and maybe go to the mall or something. But, yeah. Maybe we stream tomorrow. We stream the announcement. That could be cool. Yay, more dad. Such a simp. I know. I like my wife. What do you want from me? What else am I supposed to say? Android is the mad cats of cell phones, says 53 Nights with 2. What does that mean? Mad cats? I'm gonna need somebody to explain it to me like I'm 5. I don't know if I get the reference. I'm sorry. Steering wheels? Third-party controllers? Oh, third-party controllers from the 90s. So it's like the knockoff thing for brokies is what you're saying. That's what you're saying. Okay. Love my Flip 6. Dude, my new phone comes today. I'm going to try it at least. I had a Z Fold 3 back in the day when it first launched, and that was pretty good. I traded it for like an S24 Ultra. And that was good, but I'm going to try the Z Fold 7. See how that goes. Sorry, I got excited. My stock portfolio's doing well today. And if you just want to see what I'm talking about, yeah, this is one of the companies I've invested decently in, and we're up 5% today. Yeah, baby. Yeah, buddy. Lightweight. You want to see the last month? Ooh. Ooh, baby. Ooh, it's hot. Ooh, it's hot. Ooh, it's hot. Not financial advice, but ooh, it's hot. Ooh. Man, I'm so smart. You know who's not smart? You know who's not smart? Whoever screwed up to the point where now they have to lay off a lot of people. It's a rough segue. I'll give you that. Let's talk about this one real quick. New segment. More layoffs. People losing their jobs because management ain't got no clue what they be doing. What's happening? Let me tell you. Another round of unfortunate. Ooh, thank you for that. Luke, we need prototype 3. Yeah. We also need Half-Life 3. We need Despacito 3. I think we can skip number 2. I think we just need to get straight to the third one. I think that's a safe bet. The Last of Us Part 3. That would be thoroughly entertaining. We need all that. So, okay. Reset. News of it. Another round of unfortunate news coming out. Supermassive Games. These are the guys that made like Until Dawn, The Quarry, the Dark Pictures anthology series. They have announced that they are not immune to the latest round of layoffs. The games industry remains a challenging and ever-evolving environment. As we adapt our team structure to better align with these changes, we've had to make the very difficult decision to begin a redundancy consultation process where we anticipate losing up to 36 of our colleagues. This decision was not taken lightly, and we know this will be an incredibly difficult time for everybody. Our absolute priority will be to offer full support to all those affected. We remain focused on our upcoming projects and have made the decision to move the launch of Directive 8020, which we'll talk about in a second, to the first half of next year. The response to the game so far has been fantastic, and this additional time will help us deliver the very best experience for our fans. We're deeply grateful for the patience and support of our community. There is no impact on the development of Little Nightmares 3. Now, Supermassive has gone through it. They've really struggled in the last handful of years. It's been a real struggle for them. There's been other things in the works that this is probably related to. So as you can see here, Insider Gaming reported back in April, I believe. Yeah, April. They revealed an unannounced Blade Runner game was canceled at Supermassive Games at some point. Additionally, the developer laid off up to 30% of its staff at the start of last year. So they've been through it. They've tried to scale up. They were working on the Blade Runner game that ended up getting the can, and now they are working on another round of layoffs that will affect 36-ish people as well. As for 8020, Directive 8020, this is the game I talked about after Summer Games Fest because I actually tried it. I tried a snippet of it, and I'm saying this as a fan of Supermassive, okay? I really like Until Dawn. I really like some of the Dark Pictures anthology games, and I really enjoyed The Quarry. It's campy, it's kitschy, it's nothing that's gonna win like a BAFTA, but I honestly had fun with them. They're fun, campy games to play with your friends on a couch. Like I genuinely like those games and have fun with them. And so I'm saying this as a fan from a place of love. I really was disappointed by Directive 8020, what I played of it at least. I thought it was really clunky, and I thought in terms of direction, it focused on all the wrong stuff, which called into question like whether this project will make sense at all. For example, they have a rewind mechanic, so if you make a decision that's not good, like you kill off a character, they give you in the game a way to roll that back and make a different decision, which to me defeats the entire purpose of a choose your own adventure style game, to just be like Control Z, undo it. Like, I don't understand. So Life is Strange? No, Life is Strange, it's a gameplay mechanic. It's like an actual component. With this, it's literally just, oh no, I chose to go over here and the character died. Undo, try again. Like it undermines the entire goal of a game like this, in my opinion. Now, I'm sure that the director or whoever's working on this would disagree with that, which is why they're doing it. But I thought it was completely antithetical to everything that makes these games work, which is consequence. It's that you made a mistake, you screwed up, and now you lose. Like, that's what happens. If you want to do in like a new game plus that mechanic to rewind, okay, I'm down with that. If you want to have a mechanic in the settings under accessibility or something, in the very easy difficulty option or whatever that enables the rewind mechanic, okay, but they are phrasing it and framing it as a core component of the game. Like, this is part of Directive 8020's gameplay system, is to be able to rewind and make different choices. And they say it's because they want you to be able to experiment with different choices and see how the story could have gone differently if you had chosen this or that. But that's also, again, part of these games is the replay value, to replay the game from the start and see how differently things could have gone, to see how you could have saved this character or screwed that up. The best game to have ever done this, in my humble opinion, and I will defend this game until the day I die, because even though it's done very well, I still don't think it gets enough credit. Detroit Become Human. Okay? Detroit Become Human. I guess just maybe this one. They have this system where at the end of each chapter, they give you the full branch of what happened. And if you didn't see that outcome yet in your save file, they like keep it locked and then you don't see it yet. And so you're like, oh, well, I chose try the front door, open the front door, run to the bus, catch the bus, Kara and Alice evaded Todd. Okay. Damn it, Todd. You're in this game too? Look at that. Look at that smug face. Just look at him. He knows what he did. Unbelievable, Todd. Chasing people down. But I thought this was brilliant. And if you want to replay the chapter, you can replay the chapter. If you just want to continue on, you can do that. But I remember playing through the game multiple times, all sorts of different sections to see how differently this could have gone. Because you try the front door or you try a different route. That would take you to a different place in the house. So you take you down this route. Or this one, you try to open the front door. She succeeded. And so then she went this route. Ran to the bus and caught the bus. But you also may not catch the bus. You also may not be able to open the front door, in which case you go back this route, the same route as if you tried the other route and ended up there. It's all very, very well executed and brilliantly laid out, in my opinion. I think, again, Detroit Become Human, it reviewed well. I don't actually remember what like the Metacritic was. Yeah, like 8 out of 10. I would give it probably a 9 out of 10. I freaking love it. I thought it was so impressive. Just in terms of building out a game like that is so difficult, and they actually did it. Like, they really blew my mind with it. Is it free of cringe? No. Hold on, let me show you. Detroit Become Human song. This is a full on like tangent, but no joke, this is an ending in the game, okay? Where all the androids come together holding hands and start singing.
Hold on just a little while longer. Hold on just a little while.
And then they all come together.
Just a little while longer. Sing on just a little while longer. Sing on just a little while longer. Everything will be alright.
An actual ending in the game. And it's like, after they finish singing, all the humans go, they're right. This toaster oven, it's saying its way into my heart. Never mind. It's the most like Disney Channel thing ever. So it's not free from cringe. There is cringe in Detroit Become Human, but as a video game, it's wildly impressive. It's really, really impressive. Okay. So you can find cringy endings like that, but there's also some genuinely cool endings. And also, if you screw up and like one of the three protagonists dies because you screwed something up, they're just dead and their story ends. You can screw up and like Kara can get killed off in the first hour, and you don't see any of her story play out for the rest of like the 15 hours. And I respect the hell out of that, dude. I respect the hell out of that.
TBAG donated 13 Canadian dollars and 99 cents
Thank
through
you.
Super Chat. As a big fan of the game, I felt y'all were a little hard on the second season. Other than the casting of Bella, it really wasn't that bad. Anyway, big fan of Luke.
Of Luke Stevens too. Thank you, my friend. Much love. As for the so as a big fan of the game The Last of Us, you felt y'all were a little too hard on the second season. I think because I'm a fan of the second game in terms of like its structure, well, not the structure, in terms of like the gameplay and like that component of it, and because I've spent so much time thinking about it, because we did that like, however, was it 5 hours long? We did a 5-hour critique of it. I know that game pretty well, and I've thought about it a lot, and I think as a result, it led me to hyper-analyzing it, which made some of the design choices and like directorial choices they made really jarring. Because in my opinion, I think that they just fundamentally misunderstand or even twisted Ellie as a character. And I don't know if it's Bella's fault. I personally don't think it's Bella's fault. I think Bella was doing what the writers wrote and what the director said to do. And I think, you know, Bella just performed the way that the script had it, basically. My problem is with the script. My problem is with how they reworked it and basically turned Ellie into a Nepo baby, cringe lord. And I felt that it undermined her own mission and quest. Like Ellie as a character, she is crazy. She's wild, but she's capable and competent. But I thought Bella's portrayal of that and the version in the show was just like a bumbling idiot who happened to stumble into success, you know? So 53 Nights disagree, and I don't respect your opinion. Jesus. No, I'm glad that you were able to enjoy this season. I'm genuinely glad you were able to enjoy it. I wish I could have enjoyed it as well, but it was such a turn off for me. It was too bad, but who knows? Maybe they'll win me over in the third season. Maybe they blow me away. Who knows? We'll find out. Oh, Samuel, you want me to go into that? Oh, man.
Samuel James donated $9.99 through Super Chat. How bad was Man of Medan?
Medan. I'll put a pin in that. I'll circle back to it in just a second. Okay, thank you for the 10. Very generous. I'll circle back to that in just a second. I just want to finish this. So just going back to Directive 8020, I think that them delaying this into 2026, I think, is good because it gives them more time to polish up a lot of the jank. But a lot of the problems I had with it had to do with some of those broader directorial decisions, and then also with the writing. Like I mentioned, in this shot right here, this is the opening shot that we saw in our gameplay demo. And it is the protagonist. She's here with an old coworker of her father's. I feel that they're in like Florida near Cape Canaveral, and they're about to take off into space on a mission in like a month or two. And they are eating a cake that he brought to celebrate her dad's death years before. Now, already, just in terms of a premise for a scene, I don't think that's ever happened in the history of humanity. Like, if I see you, Kurt in chat, I'm like, hey, Kurt, let's go have dinner before you leave on this work trip. You're like, okay. And then you show up and I brought a cake to celebrate your dead dad. You'd be like, what? Like, huh? It would be weird. It'd be weird because human beings don't do that. That's not how humans work. I don't know. Maybe it's a cultural difference. Maybe this is a thing in like Norway or whatever. I don't know. It seemed weird to me. I was sitting on the couch with the headphones on as they're like, yeah, so this is the scene. And it starts playing out. I'm just like, what is happening? Like, what is this? I like Supermassive Games. Again, I like Supermassive Games. But I don't think human beings act this way. I just don't think this is how human beings work. Yeah, sorry for your loss, Kurt. I'm sorry. I brought a cake, though. That'll make it better. I would be confused, but also hungry. Yeah. They never touch the cake, by the way. They just sit there and look at it. Let's just take a moment to appreciate the mechanics of this. He lit the candles. What's she supposed to do? Blow them out? Like, sorry, Dad. Like, it's just weird. I'm sorry. The whole thing is just weird. It's one of those like little bitty things. Once you see it and you think about it, you can't stop, because you can tell like the scene was written because they needed to communicate that her dad had died and that he knew her dad. That's what I would have set this scene in a way that made sense. He worked with her dad. So, hey, your dad gave me this lucky coin or a military medal or something years ago. You should have it before you leave for your mission. That makes sense. It communicates the same thing. It's kind of a heartfelt thing, and it doesn't require confection or candles. You know, I think that makes more sense. It's just weird. It's just weird. Like, human beings don't act this way. And the dialogue was also very stiff and stilted, and it felt like, again, it was written by people who just didn't think about these things. I feel like if we're sitting in a writer's room, everything that we just outlined, I would have brought up in the first 10 seconds. You're like, okay, so here's the scene. Old man worked with her dad. She comes into the restaurant. He has a cake on the table with candles lit for her dead dad that's been dead for years. And then they talk about their relationship, and this is how they can communicate. I'd be like, what the no. This is not how humans are. What? You know? Like, it just I don't understand. I don't understand. Like, we would have shut it down because it doesn't make sense. And if this is what I'm getting off of one scene that I saw that they chose to show me, it makes me worried about what scenes they considered to be less than ideal, you know? Like, if this is what they were most proud of, what are they not proud of? That they were like, don't show that. Don't show that. Hold on to that, you know? It's just weird. It's just weird. What flavor of death cake would you prefer? Butterscotch. All day, every day. My grandpa, every year for his birthday, he asks for a butterscotch cake. And I remember having it as far back as I can remember, when his birthday is in early December. And I love that cake dearly. So, yeah, butterscotch. That's the cake I want you to bring to a restaurant when I'm dead, okay? Give it to a stranger and then light the candles and make them blow them out. Just thoroughly confuse them. Okay? So anyway, I hope that the delay can help with some of this stuff. I don't know. It's too late, I think, to rewrite some of this stuff. But it's also important to note, does something like this mean the game is bad? Not necessarily, no. But it definitely doesn't help. You know, The Quarry is kind of cringy. If you haven't played The Quarry, it's sort of a campy B movie style horror game, published by 2K, and in its pursuit of being a campy, kitschy horror game, it's successful. Like, it doesn't take itself very seriously. It's kind of cringy and silly and has some like weird, awkward moments, but it knows what it is, and that works. You know, if I fast forward to here, it works. Especially as like a social game with friends. But I don't think that what they were trying to do, like in Directive 8020, I get the sense that they're actually trying to tell like a really intense, compelling narrative. And I just don't think it's successful in that pursuit. I just don't see it based on what I saw. So I hope that they can polish it up with the delay. I hope that helps refine some of it. But I do feel like they got a little ways to go. Yeah, all sorts of stuff. I kind of want to replay this now. Because there's a lot. There's a lot there. There's a lot there. Anyway. So that's happening with Supermassive. I wish them the best of luck. I hope that they can get it sorted. Because again, I like the Quarry. I like Until Dawn. I like some of the Dark Pictures anthology games. And I hope they pull it off eventually. But we'll see. Okay. Now going back to your super chat. Samuel. How bad was Man of Medan? Man of Medan was like, as I recall it, it was their first foray into the Dark Pictures anthology. So it was their first swing at it. And it just honestly, I don't even remember how it reviewed. 7? Bro, that's twisted. For me, it was broken. It was like buggy as hell. It also like half the time the lips wouldn't move with the dialogue. It was here, I'll just let some of the dialogue play.
Hey, bud, let me get a go at it.
Oh yeah? Think you got the stuff?
你能比你的朋友打得更好吗，勇士？
Fight? Sure. Let me another quarter?
Gonna start a tab.
I'll give it a whirl.
Like, there's just a lot of very awkward, stilted things. It's just weird.
God damn, another stiff? Who's the lucky winner?
Oh, damn it, Buckley. Last time I saw him in the mess hall, he was fit as a fiddle.
Poor fucker.
Like, what is this scene direction? Your friends are dead on the ground. You're just like, oh, Buckley, come on, stop. It's just weird. Like, again, people don't act this way. This isn't how human beings work. I feel like this was written by aliens. The whole thing is so weird. Also, this is like the boat scene. This is supposed to make you like get introduced to the new cast, okay?
I've never been down there before.
Down?
The water, diving. Or maybe you could show me how the pros do it.
Are you serious?
Yeah?
I mean, are you serious you came out here without taking any lessons?
Kind of, yeah. It's
what?
It's embarrassing taking them by yourself.
It's embarrassing you came all the way out here expecting me to hold your hand.
Whoa, careful. That dive cam is like super expensive.
Little bro, be cool.
What?
Lil bro.
Julia and Conrad are, you know, how do I say it? Super fucking loaded.
So?
So don't sweat the little stuff, man. It's not cool. Don't make me regret letting you tag along.
Like, again, campy kind of cringy dialogue works if the game and premise is working with that and can work like that. But if the tone is off and if the tone is more serious, it doesn't work. It just doesn't click right, you know? So my feeling is that the writing has often been a weak point with these, and the tone affects that as well. The tone in Directive 8020 is not campy, silly, B-grade horror movie. They're like actually trying to tell something intense and serious. And I don't think that's what they're good at. I think they're good at B-grade horror movie, campy vibes. Like Until Dawn and The Quarry. I think that's when they're good. I think when they try to do, like, be more intense and serious, it just doesn't work. It falls flat. It's like if you hired Corey Feldman to perform at your bat mitzvah or something, that makes sense. Okay. It's like kind of silly and campy and it's not going to be that great. If you hired Corey Feldman to perform music at your wedding, as you like go down the aisle, I think you're going to have a worse time. You know, there's a time and place for everything. And I think you have to know where the time and place is for each appropriate thing, you know? That's the key. Wasn't there Sam Raimi's brother in The Quarry? Yes. Yes. Sam Raimi director of the OG like Spider-Man movies. Where is it? Yes, he is in The Game. Sam Raimi's brother. It's when they're driving. It's the sheriff. Where's the sheriff? Oh, no, that's 2 hours in. Like way deep in. Yeah, here he is.
All right, about here. Harbinger Motel is here.
Right, okay, and where was Hackett's Quarry again?
Dude, he's so creepy. He does such a good job with it.
I'm sure the fine folks at the Harbinger Motel can guide you there first thing in the morning.
It works. Yeah, that's Sam Raimi's acting. Yeah, that's Sam Raimi's brother. That's him. Yeah, I like the Quarry. I like the Quarry. Man of Medan, not so much, but that's just me. Just me.
But something's wrong with the game.
Indeed. We should talk about this next, because this is crazy. And then we should be good. New segment. This one will blow your mind if it is true. Okay, so when I saw this news story, I was like genuinely shocked. Ooh, I think my new phone's here. What? Okay. News segment. When I saw this news story leak, whatever you want to call it, I was genuinely shocked. If this ends up being true, it's absolutely wild, okay? We've been following Fable for a while because this, of course, is a major Xbox title. They have a lot of money poured into this. It is graphically ridiculous based on what we've seen so far, but they've been very coy with it. Like all of the gameplay stuff, even this, it's little bitty, like half-second clips here and there, and that's it. We haven't really seen extended gameplay. We haven't seen a whole lot of detail on what you'll actually be doing in the game. So we don't know if it's more akin to like the old school Fable games, or if it's something that's much like fresher or more akin to like a Witcher archetype of a game. Like we just don't know. We just don't know. But we do know that they've been working on it. They delayed it into next year. I believe it was originally supposed to be out late this year. And that's what everybody was waiting for. And then they announced they've delayed it to next year. Well, what's happened? The co-founder of Xbox Era, as always, take all this with a grain of salt, but the co-founder of Xbox Era, a Xbox platform and website and whatever you want to call it, Nick Baker, he's heard from two separate sources that Fable might not release next year at all and maybe pushed to next year completely. What's he say? Let's hear.
Why? Why do you think Fable would be next year?
Because
it was supposed to be this year.
They said we're delaying it to next year.
Yeah.
Or this year.
My information is that it's not going to be 2026.
Your Xbox information is always wrong.
I don't know. I've heard it from two different people now that Fable may slip to 2027, and that's not doom gloom. Oh, there's something wrong with the game, problems. Just hearing that it's taking a little bit longer than they expected.
Well, I don't know. They did a whole video pumping up 25th anniversary of Xbox.
I know.
Trilogy that started it all. Fable fit.
I know.
Gears.
That doesn't necessarily mean anything though, because if the game is just not coming together, it's not coming together. You can't rush it out if it's not ready.
I mean, I don't know. I disagree, but let's see. But yeah, if I think in terms of
it's not
release
about agreeing
schedule,
or disagreeing. I've had two different people tell me.
Yeah, but you don't know anything about Xbox anymore.
One of them wasn't from Microsoft.
Doesn't matter.
He's like, you're not reliable. I don't care.
I'm just
now,
saying.
if you said this about
I'm
PlayStation,
hearing that it's probably going to slip to 2027.
I would think that anyone thinks that they know exactly when it's going to come out right now doesn't know.
I mean, somebody has an idea. It's just whether they're talking to him. That's the question. Now, For one, that's really funny to just immediately to his face be like, "You're always wrong," though. That's pretty funny. I don't know his track record. I don't know, but at the very least, he owns a platform and has sources, allegedly. But it does start to make you wonder. Yeah, they've been very coy with it. Haven't shown extended looks or anything. We've gotten these little bitty snippets, but even this, after months and months of waiting, we get a 51-second gameplay teaser with pre-alpha gameplay, and I think it like graphically looks really good. But any game you can make look pretty good in half-second snippets. You know, it's really, really tough to gauge the overall quality of something until or unless you have like an extended look. 5 minutes of uncut gameplay, 10 minutes of uncut gameplay. That's where you'll actually see it. Cyberpunk looked pretty good in the lead up to launch. It was once we actually saw the finished product, they were like, oh, this is why you didn't post extended like press previews where they played it themselves. Like you only posted curated stuff. So I think, you know, it's not the most unbelievable claim that it's had problems and that they've had to delay it because it's not coming together. But if it gets pushed back to 2027, I would hope that means like early 27, like February of 27. But still, that's crazy because it was supposed to release at the end of this year. Not that long ago, the plan was for it to be out in the next few months. And they're saying that they might need an extra year and a half of work. What? Like, I'm struggling to come up with what that could even be. What problems would they have? Is it that they built the entire game around a 30 FPS target and now they're doing research finding that that's going to cause major sale like shortcomings or something? Maybe that's what it is. So they're working on optimization to get it running at 60. I'm struggling to find what could have gone so wrong that would require another year to year and a half. You know, like that's not a small amount of time. That's a lot. So, and millions of dollars. Exactly. Ellie will be a dad by then. Officially. Lock it in. Fact check true. I don't know, man. It's wild. If it is true, then that's gonna blow my mind. And you know, it's part of the problem for Xbox recently has been that they have a lot of studios, they have a lot of games certainly in the pipeline, and they showed off a ton of them like 2024, summer of 24. They blew everybody's minds with just a ton of announcements that were really impressive. And it looks like a lot of those are not seeing the light of day anytime soon. Even back in 23, a lot of those games still aren't out. 2022, I don't think they had anything. But it's just wild that they've got all this stuff in the works and it just keeps getting delayed and pushed back and pushed back and pushed back. I will say that there are some artifacts of like temporal upscalers and stuff. Like here you can see the ghosting on the chicken wing. So they're definitely using upscalers to hit frame rate targets. This is posted by IGN though. So overall sharpness on the grass, for example, I would not rely on. This is taken from the Xbox podcast. Even their own logo is compressed out the ass. So I wouldn't look at that sharpness for any indication of performance, but it's also pre-alpha. So seeing ghosting from upscalers is not shocking, but still if that ends up being true, it would be absolutely mind blowing that they've delayed it this far. It would be really, really crazy. Let's see. Ron says, while Phil Spencer said during the last Xbox showcase, Fable will be coming out next year as Gears and Forza Horizon 6 during their 25th anniversary year. Sure, it could be a launch title for Xbox in 2027 if it would potentially be delayed somehow, but the chances of that are very slim. And then this guy says, this is the same guy who claims that there will be a new Gears of War collection, aka the Marcus Phoenix collection, that was debunked. Sick of and tired of these so-called insiders. I will see to believe it. Always back to playing games. Oh, yeah, you should go back and play games. We'll see. I mean, if it ends up being fake, we will go back to this and make fun of him and laugh uproariously with our friend Jesse Norris, who doesn't believe him at all. Which again, I find it so funny. They just like, you're always wrong though. I feel like we need to add that to the soundboard.
I don't know. I've 26.
Your Xbox information is always wrong.
It's so abrupt. It's funny. It's freaking funny, dude. It's funny. So we'll see. We'll see. But I hope they at least offer a little something. Be like, oh no, it's definitely still coming out next year. We're very confident in that. Because at this point, it's just weird. It's just weird that they've shown still so very little, and it's supposed to be one of their biggest games coming out next year. It's supposed to be out this year, but it's coming out next year now. And I do think it could blow up and be huge. I know people have memed about it and been like, oh, but the protagonist is like kind of funny looking. Okay, does that mean the game's gonna be bad? Not necessarily. Like, great games can have weird looking protagonists. Have you seen the Witcher 1 version of Geralt? He's pretty fugly. Hate to break it to you. He's pretty funny looking. He looks kind of like he's been attacked by a swarm of bees, but the game's still half decent. Rude. But still, I'm excited to see what they're doing with it. But if it gets delayed, dude, that's gonna be absolutely wild. So we'll see. But you know, I can't wait till we can actually talk about Fable, like actual material stuff about Fable. But at this point, there's just nothing to say because they've not shown much. They've done 2 narrative trailers and then a 50-second gameplay reveal, and that's about it. But we'll see. Yeah. Everyone was ugly looking in The Witcher 1. Dude, I'm kind of intrigued by the remake. I wonder if they're going to do like metahuman stuff for the remake. I wonder if that's what they're doing. That would be interesting. Like, imagine if everybody in The Witcher 1 remake ends up being beautiful. It's like, oh God. Oh God. Is it time, Luke? It's time! Real quick, Nomadsky, thank you for the 8 months over on Twitch. Lovesick, thank you for the sub. And Bruce Joel, thank you for the sub as well. Thank you, guys. Thank you. When go to China, very, very unfortunately, I had to back out of the China trip. We had a family thing pop up that I could not wiggle out of. So unfortunately, I had to step away from the China trip. It's very frustrating for me because, I mean, it's a trip to China. But China will always be there. Your family will not always be there. Okay? Like, there will be a time where people that you care about will no longer be there. And that will free up your schedule to go to China. But, you know, as for right now, you got to get your priorities straight, you know? You got to get your priorities straight. And for us, it just, unfortunately, something came up and we had to prioritize that. So shout out to the guys over at S Game. They were super understanding, very, very nice about it. And we're like, oh, we'll absolutely get you, you know, keep you in the loop for whatever comes next for that game. But yeah, just drive to China. Just hop in the car and go. Yeah. 10 minutes of new Chronos gameplay out now. 10 minutes. Do I have that open? I thought I had that open. Yeah. Oh yeah, they dropped this. I wasn't sure if this was, if it was like enough for us to really sink our teeth into. It does seem very interesting, very Dead Space-esque. You know, gives me that vibe. Coming off Silent Hill and going straight to this. It's very interesting. M-Hop, thank you. Yeah, see, that's straight Dead Space right there. Then you burn the bodies. Starfield 2. Todd just shows up. Oh man. Yeah, I think if they eventually do like a play test or something, there'll be enough to go through. I feel like this is just one of those games, like horror games are always tricky to comment on, because it's like when you're playing them, that's a very different thing than watching them, you know, because when you're playing them and you're immersed in it and you're in control of it, that's where the stress hits and the like sweat starts coming out and you're like antsy and nervous. That's where you can really like have a fun time. It's just tough when you're watching a video, because you know it's you're not in that same mind space. So games like this, you know, a little beta or a demo or something can work wonders. It can work wonders. Yeah. Mind's Eye? Like Mind's Eye? If Mind's Eye had a demo, that would have saved a lot of people the trouble of requesting a refund, because I think they would have tried it and immediately gone, oh, never mind. That's why betas and demos can often be very, very nice, because they basically serve as demos. You know, Steam at least has the refund policy that a lot of people use effectively as a demo, where basically the first 2 hours of the game is a demo for them to decide if they want to commit to it. And if they don't like it, they just refund it. Sony offered that refund so fast. Well, I think they had their eyes on it, I'm sure. And it was like, yeah, we're going to offer the refund. Like they were pretty generous with it. I think Steam even was generous. I had somebody in chat, like whenever that was, it was June, so I guess a month ago basically. Wow, it's been over a month. But yeah, I guess when that was happening, somebody in chat said that they went to Steam and they had over 2 hours and they were still given the refund. So I think Steam was even being pretty loose with it. I think that helps. Have I watched any of the Wu-Chang stuff so far? My plan is to do a full I Tried video on Wu-Chang and like play it myself. So I kind of don't want any spoilers. That's where I'm at. Oh, wow. 3 views from Mr. Matty 1 minute ago. Wow. What a face, too. The algorithm's got it. Yeah, Starfield finally got an update. It's true. It's true. Dude, look at that. E3 2011. Do you know who this is? Do you remember who this is? Why is this being recommended to me from 13 years ago? Do you know who these people are?
Okay, I just need you to not act out for 48 hours. That's all I need, because otherwise I won't get hands-on time with the game.
Speaking of hands-on time, what's all the sluts?
What do you...
Sluts.
Are you outside?
Slutty, slutty, slut, 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 sluts.
Well, the politically correct term is booth babes, but I mean, that's kind of offensive too. It's just that this is kind of a male-dominated industry, and a lot of the people...
Cured Madness donated $20 through Super Chat. Hello, I can't watch live right now, but I wanted to bring up that thing about credit card companies making Steam take down games. While yes, those games were weird, it could turn into other broader games they could push off.
Oh, thank you for the 20. And yeah, no, I had some people reach out with that, because the clip that we cut from the stream for it was just kind of me looking at what games were banned. And I mean, I didn't really think about the whole thing much. I just kind of was looking at the insane incest games that were banned off of it. But no, it's the same reason a lot of people have expressed. It's one of the more unique arguments I've heard actually against like stop killing games. Is one person came to me, they're like, I just don't want government regulation coming into my hobby. Like they're not regulating video games right now. I don't want them to be regulating it because that changes what games can be made. So I don't want government touching my hobby at all, whether it's stop killing games or whatever. The same person said that's the same reason I don't want them to ban like loot boxes, because then the government is telling people what games they can and can't make, and I don't want them to do that. I was like, okay. But there is, like in that case, there's something called the slippery slope fallacy, which is like not doing something because you're saying, well, it could eventually turn into this. So like, I don't want to have this thing happen because eventually it could lead to them doing this, this, and this. That doesn't mean that doing X right now is bad. Like you can still do X right now just because the hypothetical eventuality would also be bad. Like that doesn't mean that you can't do anything right now. But anyway, it's all beside the point. As for that specific thing, I totally understand where people are coming from, where they're like, hey, I don't like the idea that a payment processor can just say, don't buy these, like don't sell these kinds of games. Full stop. We don't like you selling a game that has a political statement we don't like. We don't like you selling a game that has, I don't know, a problematic message or whatever. And so, you know, shut it down, get it off Steam. I can understand why people are saying that they're really uncomfortable with that precedent being set for credit card issuers, for PayPal or whoever, setting the standard and being like, no, we don't like that. Stop. Because it's kind of happened, what was it, 5-6 years ago? There was like a wave of that stuff. I think it started with like Alex Jones, where they started banning him and then all of the people kind of in his orbit after the Sandy Hook stuff kind of came to fruition and the lawsuits and everything there got tied up. So they kicked him off of YouTube. They kicked him off of all these platforms. Anybody around him started kicking him off. And it was because like that precedent had been set. And so they started booting people off for those reasons. And now they're turning the frogs gay. Yeah. Dude, they got rid of the parody songs. Like a lot of those parody songs that used to exist of like Alex Jones singing country folk songs about turning frogs gay and stuff. They even stripped those off YouTube. It was crazy. Like they went scorched earth. They went scorched frog on it. Yeah, they went crazy. So yeah, to respond to that Cured Madness, in that moment when we first talked about it, I wasn't really like, just not saying this is good. I'm saying I should have thought about it more before talking about it. Shocker. Yeah. Sometimes you should think about things more before you talk about them. Yeah, I wasn't really thinking about it. I was just kind of looking at the list of games that were dropping, and I was shocked that those games were ever available from Steam's current TOS. Honestly, I didn't think that they allowed for like incest games to be sold, but they do, or did, I guess, apparently. But I understand what people are saying when they say that it's a slippery slope to like start letting credit card issuers dictate what can and can't be sold, because it doesn't take that far of a leap for you to get to the point of them like not allowing you to sell games that, you know, have politically problematic messaging or like, hey, in this game you mentioned some anti-vax talking point from one of the bad guys, therefore the game's banned. Like I totally understand what people are discussing there. So I think it's definitely worth having a discussion over and debating. Realistically, I think part of the tricky bit is that because it's specifically targeting it in this form, it's targeting those like incestuous games. It's really hard to like talk about it without sounding like a total creep. You know, like I think they should be allowed to sell those games. Everybody's going to look at you like, what? Really? And that's, I'm sure, by design and intentional, because you know there's no way to talk about it without sounding like a total creep. But I think if you're capable of having a more nuanced conversation, I think that hopefully can happen, and you can have a more nuanced conversation without just name calling. But it can certainly turn into that. You know. But going back to this, just some of you guys were wondering who this is. This is the queen. This is the queen herself.
Speaking of hands-on time, what's all the sluts?
What do you?
Sluts. Are you outside? Slutty. These look pretty proud to me. That's right up top.
Who are you talking about?
Up top.
I thought this is something we'd be on the same page about.
Yeah, that's why I went for the high five.
No, about how it's wrong.
Why?
Well,
You make a good.
They're brother and sister. They're brother and sister. Do you see this down here? Anthony Birch and Ashley Birch. You know Ashley Birch? She played a character that is very near and dear to Mr. Jor. I just want the frickin' thing. She played the queen. Her Majesty. Aloy. Aloy. Also Tiny Tina, yes. Also Tiny Tina. And then her brother, Anthony Birch, he was the lead writer on Borderlands 2 and also is the host of the Dungeons and Daddies podcast, which has done really, really well, which is also just very funny. It's why it's so crazy that this out of nowhere was recommended to me today. Like July 19th, 2012. What? But yeah, small world, right? This is well before 5 years before Horizon would launch. It's just funny. It's just funny. Small world, right? Small world. It's freaking funny. Yeah, YouTube algo goes crazy sometimes. Yeah, dude. She's played a lot of characters. Yeah, no, she has. A lot of those voice actors and actresses have. Yeah, so that's very funny to me. That's like, what a small world, I'm telling you. Okay, what else do we have? Oh yeah, new Mafia trailer. We should probably look at that. Blondie, thank you for the 6. Hey Luke, I'm an American working in Germany. Thanks for your content, watching every stream. Love your family, chat, and Todd. Keep it real, my dude. Indeed. Stay safe in Germany, my friend. I've always wanted to visit Germany. I would love to visit Germany someday. I hear the beer is tight. They know what they're doing. They know what they're doing. Correct me if I'm wrong. Isn't German beer, like, I guess it's a lot of lagers as well, but do they do stouts? Like, Guinness is probably the world's most well-known one, but like, which country has the best dark beer? Like, which country has the best dark stouts that feel like you're eating a loaf of bread every time you drink it? They do everything. Belgium does it. Not a fan of Guinness. Sorry, dude, it's so good. It's so much better than like the light stuff. Here in Colorado, we are like the home of the breweries that do IPAs and the really light stuff that tastes like you're drinking water and then licking a bush. It's not my thing. I like the stouts. I like it a lot more. Anywhere but America. Dude, for real. I don't know what it is. In the US, it's all like this light, Bud Light, Natty Light stuff. It drives me crazy. Bier schmeckt nicht wie Brotbruder. Was that good? Was that accurate? German beer is better than ours, indeed. That's what I've heard. I mean, you guys literally, the Germans, they know what they're doing. They have an entire holiday about it. Oktoberfest. Dude, going to Oktoberfest would actually be super freaking cool. Oktoberfest. I mean, come on. Come on. He knows what's up. He's like, you wish you were me. You know you wish you were me. I have everything and you have nothing. Oh, dude, like, come on. Come on. And you can wear Lederhosen. Lederhosen. Yeah. Dude, it'd be great. Oh, and the pretzels. Dude, just imagine. This is my heaven. Beer and massive pretzels. That's all I need in life. That's all I need in life. Oh, now I'm hungry. God damn it. Now I'm hungry. Let's talk about Mafia. Ah, damn it. Oh, man. It's because we can't grow the same type of wheat they do in Europe. I mean, we could import it. I think we're just lazy. And honestly, transparently, I think it's because, like, in the US, it's all about volume. Like, a lot of Americans, they like beer. They don't want to drink, like, a little beer that's potent. They want to drink a lot of beer that's like water. So they can have 15 beers and, like, finish an entire case. Like, for us, it's all about gluttony. That's the key. It's all about gluttony. Americans, that's what we want. Do they have IPAs in the USA? Yeah, like, that's the big thing here in Colorado is it all being IPA stuff. And it drives me crazy because I think IPAs taste disgusting. It's like literally like you licked an elephant's armpit and then you drink from a hose. It's just gross. Like, I drink... Even I'll drink a Bud Light or something. I'm like, okay, I can see why somebody would drink that. Like, I get it. But I drink an IPA and I'm like, it's actively repulsive. Like, it actively makes me not want to drink it. Like, it's bad. It's just bad. There's two types of people in this world. Those who agree with me on IPAs and those who are lying. Okay? I'm not convinced anybody actually likes an IPA. I think they're all gaslighting me to try and prank me into drinking one, to then laugh. You know, somebody, oh, it's actually really good, you should drink it. And then you drink it and they're like, ha ha ha, got you. I think that's what is happening. Timothy, stop this IPA slander. I can't do it, man. I can't do it. Okay, let's talk about Mafia real quick. News of it. It happened, guys. A brand new trailer for Mafia: The Old Country has dropped. Official The Family Code Mafioso gameplay trailer. Mafioso. I've noticed if you want to be a gangster, you got to kind of talk like your voice is given out, like you screamed at a rave the night before. The Family Code Mafioso. That's the key. That's the key. I'm telling you what. Let's watch it.
Now we must send a message.
See? Gabagool. Yeah, exactly. I'm telling you.
Message to all around that Torisi takes care of his family and his affairs. Will you do that, Enzo?
Yes, puppy.
I will.
I'm telling you, the voice acting.
Everything in San Celeste has a price. Our price. Everyone pays. And if they don't, you must remind them of their duty. Some try to run from their obligations. They think there is a place on this earth that lies beyond our reach. Nobody hides from this family. Not for long. Iron walls, iron gates, armed men. They think those will keep them safe. Show them otherwise. Out dead, you're my eyes and ears, Enzo. What you see, what you hear.
Little Last of Us listen mode.
Never forget that. Our enemies lie in wait, like vipers in the grass. We must strike first, quietly and without hesitation. If someone were stupid enough to put his hand in my pocket, it would be up to you to return what is mine. And remember, what you give to this family, you shall receive back in kind. Welcome, Enzo.
Welcome, Enzo. I'm telling you, after the last gameplay like preview they did, I'm feeling much more confident in this whole package because again, like the only thing I'm like even like worried about, like performance as always is a concern, I guess, in 2025 with Unreal Engine games. But beyond that, the only thing that I'm concerned about has been runtime. Like Jor got in my head and I'm like, oh, is it only going to be 5 hours long? That would be kind of a bummer. But hearing them say that they spent 3 hours playing 3 chapters of the game, especially chapters that seem basically like a tutorial section, that's really encouraging to me, because that makes it way more likely that we can hit that like 12-hour mark where I'm comfortable, where I think we're in a good spot. As for what they're showing, like, it looks like the quintessential Mafia game. This shot is also reminiscent of another shot in Mafia. I wonder if I can find it, because I saw the comparison. The Old Country versus Mafia. I think it would have been 2, right? Yeah, here. Mafia game video's got it. He's on it. Look at this. Look at that. Isn't that fun? Isn't that a good little comparison? Isn't that great? Mafia, the Old Country 2025 versus Mafia 2 from 2010. I agree with AD, or a dog, I think is the username. It's definitely going to cross over at the end. The old man that helps us in the beginning of Mafia 2 got to be Enzo. I think there's a very strong likelihood of that. All of these games intertwine. I think there's a very good chance of that. No spoilers, of course, beyond what he just said. And I read aloud, sorry, but I think there's going to be some tie-in. I think absolutely. But it's really nice to see the jump just in terms of fidelity. It makes you appreciate it. I paused it at like the exact same time. Anyway, so I think it looks like the exact kind of Mafia game a lot of us Mafia fans have wanted. Not Mafia 3, but much closer to Mafia 1 and 2. That's what we've been wanting. That seems to be what this is. I hope it's a little bit bigger than like 10 hours. I hope it's like 12 to 15. Something because I think also the problem with shorter runtimes, it's not just like the value proposition, but I also think it's a matter of concern over like how you build up the characters. Like if you don't have enough time with the characters to get to know them and appreciate and care about them, the emotional hit when that character dies at the end, or when that character has some sort of crisis at the end, doesn't land the same way. You know, like you gotta have time to get to know and build relationships with the characters in this weird sort of psychedelic sort of what's the word? There's a word for it. I'm blanking on it. What's the weird word for like a relationship between an audience member and then like an entertainer? It's also used in that context. It's like that weird stilted relationship. Parasocial. Thank you, Sonny and Rami. Thank you. Parasocial. Yeah, like you gotta have time to build a parasocial relationship with the character within the story. That's the thing. That's the key. That's the key. I also want to call out, there's screen tearing in this clip. This is why I'm also concerned over performance. Do you see it? Do you see? Enhance. You see that? Cuts clean across the bottom. Right there. See that? It's not the end of the world. I don't know why they don't just have VSync turned on or whatever. It's a work in progress build, but it again is another one of those signs of just like performance concerns that I have. I hope that it's not a problem. I hope that they get it polished up to the point where it runs really well. But Unreal Engine games, you just always have to kind of be braced for it to run poorly. Unfortunately, it's just, that's how it goes. That's how it goes, man. That's how it goes. But I'm excited, dude. I'm excited. I like transparently, I think, you know, for something like this, I've tried to be very clear that I have a bias for Mafia. I really like Mafia games, and I won't pretend that I don't, or pretend like this is something I can look at just totally unemotionally. I really hope this is good. I'm a fan of Mafia games, and I really hope this is good. As a result, like, I hope they nail it. I hope they nail it. But I try to be clear with you. I try to communicate with you that I hope this is good. I hope it's good. We'll see. Fingers crossed for you. Yeah, if it's like really lackluster, I'll be very sad. because I don't think Hangar 13 probably survives that. And it also means that we probably never get another big Mafia game, which would be too bad. But I think it looks like the kind of game I want it to be. I'm mainly just concerned about like scope and scale, and then I'm also concerned over like technical performance and polish and stuff like that, because that's been a problem for these types of games before. But time will tell with that. Time will tell. Maybe they put the graphics on ultra for the demo to show off visually. High usually looks good with less of a performance hit. Yeah, maybe. I think they're recording a lot of this off of a PS5, so we don't even know what like the PC version will look like, but we'll see. We'll see. As with all Mafia games that we've ever seen, they are made or broken based on their gameplay. Or not on their gameplay. The opposite of what I just said. Can you tell I'm hungry and I'm crashing out? These games are defined and made or broken on their narrative, not always the gameplay. The gameplay usually plays second fiddle. So if you like the stories of Mafia games, like you can kind of put up with repetitive gameplay or not super engaging stealth or shooting mechanics because you're playing it for the story, and that's why you're there. And some people hate that idea and they would much rather have intense gameplay and a lesser story. That's totally fine. It's just not a game for you. But if you really like these narrative heavy games, you're willing to put up with more clunky combat or stealth or whatever if the story's good. But that's why if the story sucks or is too short or is rushed because the runtime has to be tighter, like that's where you can start to see a game like this suffer. That's why I'm braced. But I think the reason why I'm nervous about it is because I really want it to be good. Really want it to be good. Hani, will I play Wood Chain? Yes. I mentioned earlier in the stream, my goal is to do an I tried on the big channel, probably in the next like week or so. That's my goal. So yes, I do plan on playing it and putting out a big video on it too. So buckle up, buckaroo. That's my goal. Let's see. You can do gameplay for members. Ooh, that's a good idea. You should totally do that. Yeah, I like that. Worst thing are the cutscenes. I just hope it's more gameplay than cutscenes. I think it will be, and I think that they're going to do a lot more of the like kind of Red Dead 2 style of exposition where they have, you both hop in the car and you drive to where the mission starts, and on the way there's dialogue that plays out. That's how it works in like Mafia Definitive Edition. Mafia 2 does that a lot, so I think they're going to do that a lot too. Yeah, should be good. Lost Soul aside, yeah, that's one to keep an eye on too. I haven't dug into it a ton, but yeah, I'm aware of it. Keeping an eye on it. But okay, guys. Well, as I mentioned, I am a hungry boy, so I'm going to end the stream there for now. I will be back probably tomorrow, honestly, for the Battlefield 6 reveal. I think that's my goal. So we'll plan on being back for that. In the meantime, go watch the video on the main channel that we just posted on Starfield, because it got an update and I kind of explained my official prediction for what's happening with that game by the end of August. So go check that out. It's going to be a good time. There's a lot there. But until tomorrow, my friends, much love. I'll see you very, very soon. Thank you for the tremendous amount of super chats and memberships and subs and everything. You guys are crazy, and I appreciate the gosh darn heck out of you guys. Until next time, my friends, much love. I'll see you in the next one. Hugs and kisses. Bye-bye.